You smug motherfucker. You're not severed. You walk out of here with your memories. You carry them home with you every night. No one can rip them away from you, snuff them out. Like they never existed. Like you never existed. That's enough. Turn them back!
God damn it, stop doing!
Yes! Do it, Seth!
Hold on. Oh man. Real enigmas and theories. If this not good, or if it's not the good graces of my family, I don't want it. Keep doing your thing, brother. I was like, is that way? No way. No. Yo, Reels and Enigmas. Let me tell y'all something real quick, y'all. Y'all see this brother Reels and Enigmas, yo? I found his channel got suggested to me because y'all know I be watching all my nerd shit. You know, I've been heavy on the Severance recently, and I'm gonna keep it 100. His breakdowns is for niggas. Like if you a nigga and you like breakdowns, he breaks it down for you. Like he can break down the show. I'm actually super impressed with this brother does. I found his channel yesterday. I subscribed. I tweeted it out. Sent him a super chat. He sent me one back. Much love to the brother. Reels and Enigmas and Theories. Real Enigmas and Theories. Y'all gotta get on his. Get to his channel, y'all, for real. Get to his.
Oh yes. We could feed him a pile of loose corn. Oh.
Real Enigmas and Theories is back again with another live wellness session. Yes, we're back. We had to do another wellness session. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Wayno. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ball is Life. Also, shout out to Open Mike Eagle, who came through as well to the channel. Show some love. And shout out to all of you. Shout out to everybody that's here rocking with us. Everybody that's here is definitely supposed to be here with us. Yes, indeed. We're going to talk about some things because, you know, we don't... Here's another week going by. We don't get an episode. We have to have a wellness session. It's mandatory. I don't know. We might have to do Severance live streams every week until this joint come back. And we might not talk about everything Severance. We might just talk about some things like, you know, that we noticed, some symbolism. And, you know, we might talk about other shows as well. But we'll definitely have like a wellness session stream every week. Well, I don't know. We might have one. Hopefully we will. And also, we will be doing some members only streams. I have not forgot about the Lexington letter. I'm working on another video right now. I'm working on 2 videos actually. Working on a video breaking down some symbolism that we may have missed. And I will be incorporating other symbolism from TV commercials and other TV shows as well that have been sharing the same symbolism. Can everybody hear me out there? Let me know if you guys can hear me. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if the sound is good and everything is rocking like it's supposed to be. Let me know. Also, some members only live streams. I'm gonna give away some memberships tonight. Matter of fact, let me drop a couple memberships in the chat for the people that are here early. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you get one of these memberships. If you have been trying to renew your membership, I don't know why people are saying that they're not seeing the join button. I went and looked at my channel from another channel, and I could see the join button. You know what I mean? I don't know if it just automatically pops up for some. There is a join button or a link to join in the page description. So in the page bio, you can also find the join button. But yeah, we're gonna give away some hopefully you get one of these. When I give out memberships, or if anybody gives memberships, it just goes randomly. Like it just, they randomly select people. I don't even think you have to be in the chat. You just have to be watching. Or I don't even know. I don't even know how they pick. I think you have to be subscribed, because I've gotten memberships from channels and I wasn't even watching the live stream. Like, I don't know how that works. I don't know what it does, but here's one. Here's a gift of 5 memberships. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you got the membership. If you got the membership, go ahead and celebrate with those emojis. You know what I'm saying? We'll give out some more later on this evening. We're going to rock out for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm still on the mend. My voice is getting better. I know you guys can tell my voice is getting a little more clear again. Let's see here. Let's do some shout outs real quick. Me and Mickey B was in the chat early, like 11:30 this morning. We were in the chat. She said, so you out here giving us treats? And I'm like, yes, indeed. And then, some people came in here a little bit afterwards. The homie Food Pyramid was in here. What's going on with you? Dawn was here. Yes, indeed. We had Jay in the building. We had Scotty in the building. Beam me up, Scotty. Scotty Saturn. We got Elizabeth in the building. How you doing, Elizabeth D? How you? We got Shambolic Rubik's Cube in the building. Who wants onion cookies? Ah, yeah. Them onions cookies might be like smelling salts. You smell them just, ooh. You know what I'm saying? We got Christine Jelly Bean in the building. Good to see you, Christine. We have Zechariah here. Peace. Yeah, who else we have in here? We have David here. Yes, indeed. The wonderful No Context is in the building. Jen, the teacher, is here with us. Hello. Terrell is here. We got Kier Egan in the building. Gang. Yes, indeed. I know y'all saw that album cover. You know what I'm saying? I was digging through the crates and I found this album from back in the day. Hold on, let me see if I could share this with you guys. I found this album cover. I might have been, I don't know if I was going through some of my parents' old records or what the hell was going on. But where is it at? Hold up. I found the album cover and I was like, wow, this is interesting. I didn't even know bro is still doing this thing. You know what I'm saying? Lionel Eagan. Hold up. Uh-oh, no, that's not a good way to do it there. Let's okay. I guess that's as good as we gonna get, I guess. That's as close as we gonna get. Lionel Eagan, this is Skeeter's great uncle, grand uncle. You know what I'm saying? This is uncle on the grandfather's side. And he had that album called Siring in the Shadows. You know what I'm saying? Siring in the Shadows. Lionel Eagan, you know what I'm saying? He had the Jerry curl back in the day. He was flexing. You already know when they pose like this on the album cover, it's already a wrap. You know what I'm saying? You might as well put that album on. There's no skip. That thing is in motion. You know what I'm saying? Like when they pose like this on the album cover, it's about to be a classic. It's always a classic. We've seen it with the great Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, Prince. We've seen it with Carl Thomas. We've seen it with Usher. But this is Lionel Eagan. You know what I'm saying? He's doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to that. Who else we got here? Who else is here? We got DMT Visual in the building. Good to see you. Ball is Life. I remember watching that channel during the during the high school day. Yo, that channel is crazy. Greg said, nah, for real. For real got the best Severance breakdowns for the niggas and enigmas. Greg, what's good with you? Good to see you here. Brandy is here. Real enigmas and theories. That's what's up. What's good with you? Okay. We got Max here. What's good, Max? Brother Big Heck. Wagwan, big up to big up to the gang. Yes, big up to the gang. We got Jazz here. We got Kyle in the building. What's good, Kyle? We got Ghost MKC in the building. Yeah. Marshmallows are for team players, Dylan. That's right. We got the cat in the tinfoil hat in the building. Yes. Yeah, you already know. It's K. K, you already know I had to come through. We got to check on each other. We're going to need these wellness sessions. These wellness sessions going to hit a little bit different than they hit for the actual employees in MDR. You know, we're not going to hear facts about our innies. We're going to hear facts about their innies, or outies, I should say. Yes, we have the beautiful Joy in the building. Good to be here. We got Flat Satire in the building. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Brian Brooks is here. Yes, Christian is here. Holly is here. Who else is in the building with us? Iron Man is in the building. Iron Man, what's up, my enigmas? Yes. Yes, indeed. Hold on. What's going on? Who else we got? We got TK Daily. We got Tyka Daily. I was in the studio when he made that actually. Oh, wow. That's crazy. That is crazy. Good to see you over here for real. Yeah. We rocking out. We got Sherry Ann in the building. Marcus is here. Marble Blue is in the building. Who else is here? Okay. Wellness sessions needed. Yes, we need these. We need these wellness sessions. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what I'm saying here. Bring enough crab raggroons for everybody. Real enigmas. Yeah, we real enigmas around here. You know what I'm saying? Yes, indeed. Hold on, let me see what else I can present to us real quick before we really get started and really get cooking up in here. Give me a second, y'all. Yeah, we about to cook in here tonight. We're going to talk about a few things. You know what I'm saying? I've been getting some amazing comments about the season that we just watched. And I definitely have been sparked to talk about a few things. So we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. We got Coriel in the building. How you doing? Good to see you here. Yes. Who else we got in here? We got Groucho Grouch in the building. That was after he left his band, the Kier Madors. Yo, Groucho Grouch wins. That comment right there wins. That's gonna go over some people's head, and you showing your age. Somebody said, what did they say? Hold on, let me find that comment. This John is crazy. Hold on, wait. I think I might even be able to share this instead. Let's see. Yeah, I think I can do that. Hold up. Okay, let's see if I can present that. All right. Yes, this had me rolling. Okay, so let's read some of the comments. Somebody said King Ultravioleters said, where can we find your music? Where can we listen to your music? Well, there's a couple things out there here on all the little platforms and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Loved you and Miscellaneous Gab again and again and again. That's what's up. That's what's up. Shout out to Miscellaneous Gab. I can't wait for the live stream on her channel. That's gonna be fire. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said do one where Irv is Bob Ross. Challenge accepted. Challenge accepted. I'll definitely do that. I'm gonna get to that. Between this and Jane Witherspoon, I was wondering what was in that water in LA. Yeah. Somebody said, not siren in the shadows. Hold on. This reeks of ingratitude. Yo, that's hilarious. Hold on. Let's see. Somebody said, who else thought this was Richard Simmons at first glance? And when I look back at it now, I cannot unsee that it does look like Richard Simmons. Nisha said, sir, you are too much. Mickey B said, and another one. Hold on, there's a funny one. Oh, did they erase it or something? It was hilarious. Hold on. I think it said Eagan like Sunday morning or something like that. Where is it at? Yeah, somebody got rid of that comment. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, yeah, Eagan as Sunday morning. Yeah, here it is right here. That was funny. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, if you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? Groucho says, showing my age indeed. Yes. The Kier is hilarious. That's hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. What else we got here? Let's go ahead and stop that sharing that real quick. Let's get to it. Let's talk a little bit. Let me pull up what I was actually going to share. Let's pull up some photos. You know what I'm saying? Let's pull up some photos from that last episode. Let's just pull up some photos, period, for Severance. And let's just pull up some Severance material. And we're going to cook, y'all. I know I still sound like I got that cold. Yes, indeed. Steve is in the building. Steve, the green hand, is in the building. Says smash that like button. Hit that like button on your way in if you forgot. How many likes we got in here? We got what, 84 people in here? How many likes we got? We got 40 likes. Let's get it on up to 60 at least. Let everybody know you in the building. And I mean, I'm not asking for me. I'm asking so we can have a good time up in here. Let everybody know you in the building. Share this joint. Tell them to get on in here. Because we're going to talk. We're going to talk that shit tonight. You know. Yeah. Christian says, yes, I believe I know what you are saying. Did I say what? You know what I'm saying a lot? The man in black is in the building. What's good? What up, though? Good to see you as always, fam. Welcome in. Welcome in. Doc Kaiju is in the building. What's good, fam? How you? We have Debbie, Ebby, Bo, Bebby, Banana, Fana, Bo, Febby, to the feed 5, Mo, Mebby. Debbie is here with us this evening, blessing us with her presence. Yes, please enjoy your music dance experience equally. Yes, please do. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. By the way, I got an update on the music dance experiences right now. I'm back in the studio. Finishing up the album, not actually finishing up, I'm probably like halfway through. It's going to be 20 joints. I really want to do 21 songs. You know, we got to take it back to when in the 90s, when you bought an album, that shit had 21 songs on it. You know what I'm saying? Like 21 records to vibe out to. And a lot of times it was non-skippers too. Like you weren't really skipping them joints back then. You know what I'm saying? You could play them the whole way through. They had a theme, they had a vibe. And that's what I'm coming with this time. I'm definitely coming with like a producer album. There's going to be multiple artists from all over the world on there. I already have several Nigerian artists on there. I have a South African artist on there. I have some American artists. I have some artists from the UK. Like this joint is going to be fire. I'm telling you. If you've heard any of it already, then you know what I'm talking about. The man in black with the super chat. Thank you, fam, for your generosity. And he says, keep cooking. Yes, we got to keep cooking. We got to keep cooking. I'm back in tune with The Last of Us. So I'm going to start doing some videos before it starts. I have a few days before it starts. I would love to do The Handmaid's Tale. But I might just have to just jump in. I've never done this before like that. Like, I always feel like I have to become abreast with what the show is really clicking for before I start covering it, so that I can feel like I'm well established into the show's lore and what they've done. But I think I'm just gonna watch the whole thing, all the 5 seasons, and just jump right in. I'm not gonna do anything. If I do jump into The Handmaid's Tale, I'm not sure yet. We'll see. That comes out in a few days, so we'll see what's going on with that. I'm still in the process of finishing up the hand guide, the field guide, right? The field guide is coming. Also, the documentary for Providence is definitely on the table as well. We've been going through the footage lately, and what Taryn and I have from Providence. We are also going to still be going to Newfoundland in July. So if you want to donate to that trip, go ahead and you can donate via Cash App. That 100% of your donation goes towards that documentary, and also PayPal. The PayPal links and the Cash App links are in the page bio. You know what I'm saying? And if one of the mods can throw those links in the chat, that would be dope as well. Yeah, you know, so we're working on that. Those are the things. That's kind of like a page update. Things happen, you know what I'm saying? Things happen to slow things down sometimes. I wish I would have been able to get the field guide out. I was doubting that I was going to be able to get that out. I definitely want to go through the correct processes of releasing it, as far as getting an editor to look at it and all of that, you know, all of that jazz. And so we're going to do all of it the right way. I don't want to put out some shabby product, you know what I'm saying, just for the sake of getting it out there because I know you want it. We're going to put it out right, you know what I'm saying? We're also working on several other things as well, web series, animations, a lot going on over here, you know, and I'm working on my clients' work as well. So, you know, just keeping it funky. We still cooking, like the man in black said, keep cooking. Yes, we still cooking. We got another super chat from KT Cook or KT Cook or KT Cook. Glad you made it back from LA. I thought Bert might have took you for a ride after the screening. Yo, you know what, CT? I'm sorry about that, CT. I wish Christopher Walken and John Turturro would have been there at Paley Fest, but they weren't there. Sad enough, they weren't there. That would have been like the icing on the cake. That was the only thing that I didn't like about Paley Fest. Everything else was wonderful. I mean, Severance was the only sold out event for the entire Paley Fest. And there was some other shows there. The Handmaid's Tale was there. They had The Handmaid's Tale. They had Cobra Kai. There was a bunch of shit up in there that was real good. But Severance was the only one that sold out. It was real lit. You know what I'm saying? Up in the Severance joint, it was 3,300 people in the building. There was 3,300 seats. All of them was full. There were some people standing up in the back. Everybody was in that joint. It was crazy. You could hear the crowd screaming outside when all of the actors came in. It was like, yo, it was on some concert type shit for real. And then Milchick made it a whole lot better by bringing an entire marching band in there. That was crazy. I went live on Instagram while that whole thing was going down. We had fun there. So yeah, follow me on Instagram as well, so you catch me when I go live. I go live from the studio too. So like when y'all can catch me on that. Ghost MKC said, I can't wait for Handmaid's Tale. I forgot it was coming back. Yeah. Brandy said, you can watch for the first time and elaborate on what you see as you experience it for the first time. Kind of like Deception Detective. Okay. I will definitely keep that in mind as a way to approach this season. But I would love to get into it because I'm gonna tell you, I watched a couple of the first few episodes, and there is definitely hella symbolism, like all littered throughout this joint. Like the symbolism is bananas in that show. Like I don't know what's going on. I'm sure they definitely have a lot of fertility symbolism as well on this joint too. So you know what I mean? Yeah, this right here is I made a joke about the Felicia stop motion character looking like the crackhead from Moral Oral. Come to find out that the people that made that stop motion animation are the people who made Moral Oral. I thought that was so cool. You know what I'm saying? And this is their Instagram page. You can go follow them. Starburns Industries. They are dope. Definitely. Yeah, look at that there. That's crazy. Yo, I did, I'm going to do an audit video as well. That's the other video I'm going to do is the audit video where I'm going to show like all of the stuff that I was talking about. Some of the stuff that I was talking about before the season even started. I did one video before the season started called Severance Decoded. Some of the stuff that I was talking about in there was definitely coming true in the show. I always thought that both of the opening credits depict Mark getting reintegration sickness. And I said this before we even got the season 2 intro credits. And then boom, the very next episode after I said that in the video, we get the season 2 intro credits, and it's almost blatant in that one, like definitely talking about his reintegration. And that's kind of like, what the first one was talking about, the reintegration, and it had those bits of Irv in there as well. But yeah, that was fire. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're going to get into that. Who else we got in here with us? We got, okay. Oh yeah, all right. So we should be caught up on all the shout outs. Pardon me. Yes, pardon me. I'm still recovering from whatever happened to me when I came back from LA. I'm talking about like I took a nap after I got back. I got back at like 6 a.m. I went home, took a nap, and I woke up and I was not feeling all right. People was all up in the airport digging in their nose and wiping it on the seats and shit. I probably sat right on some boogies or some shit. Like I probably sat on like a stack of boogies and got sick by sitting on somebody's fucking boogies or something. People was in there wiping their nose on shit and leaving it there in the seats, and it was crazy. I was like, damn, like what the fuck is going on? Like, am I the only one in this motherfucker that believe in washing your hands and shit like that? I felt I was crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Teresa says jet lag. I mean, a little bit, maybe. Not really all like that, because when I got to LA, I was good. Like the day I got to LA, I went live twice. We went live. That wasn't that. But I did go live, and then we went live for the pre-show. And I'm sitting up in there going live, Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I felt good. I felt good when I got there. But when it was just when I came back, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, motherfuckers. Yeah, exactly, Marble Blue. Like, motherfuckers is just like, had boogies everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, people was digging in their nose. I was watching this nasty ass couple. And I said, I had to say something to him, because this was terrible. I mean, the girl was digging in her nose and just wiping it on the chair. And them chairs in the airport be like, there's hardly any like room to really even wipe a boogie. Like, so this motherfucker, and he was doing it too. I said something to him. I wasn't going to approach his lady like that, but I said something to him. I was like, man, you and your girl, man, you need to tell your girl to stop wiping boogies on the goddamn seat and shit out this motherfucker, man. Like, but you probably ain't going to say shit because you doing it too. And I just walked away. I was like, man, it was making my stomach turn up in that motherfucker. Then I sat across from this other dude, and he was sitting there wiping boogies on shit. He was digging in his nose. And this dude, I don't know, like, he sat right next, there was nowhere to sit, and he sat right next to this little kid. I'm gonna just be real. If that was my son, I would have got up and switched seats with him. Like, I'm not letting no big dude with wiping boogies and shit sitting next to my kid, yo. Like, you gotta move the fuck out the way. Get your ass out the way. Or you switch seats with me, son. Let's switch these seats up in here. We're not having that. Yeah, but yo, you sis talking, see, you eating dinner. I'm sorry. You eating dinner. Okay, you eating dinner. Teresa said, yo, this is nasty. This motherfucker here talking about motherfuckers eating boogies at the airport. Chris LaBelle's in the building with us. Hey, that is childish folly. Yeah, it is. It is. It definitely is. I felt like I was watching a kindergarten class or something. You know what I'm saying? Or a bunch of innies. You know innies be digging in their nose. Let's keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Innies are like children. You know what I mean? You know, on some real shit. Yo, I wonder if they actually have like some sort of level of severance that's already available for real. Not available to the common public, but they have something like severance that they're actually testing. You know, we know that our government was actually creating severed individuals with hypnosis and sending them to different organizations so that they could get the scoop on these organizations and come back and bring the information. And these people would never even know that they were a part of those organizations. And they were actually doing that. Like that's not a conspiracy theory. Like, I've actually showed the documents and everything. Our presidents were involved with it and the whole nine. And this was before Operation Paperclip, before even World War II. So, like, yeah, we've talked about that in here. You know what I'm saying? But speaking about the innies picking boogies, right? Where the fuck are Mark and Helly running to? Like, where do you go? Where do we go from here? Like, bro done kill Evil Hodor. Like, his ass is in jeopardy right now. Like, he's in trouble. He's definitely. This is where Milchick might step in and help them. You know what I'm saying? Milchick might know where they are or something. How do you hide in a place like the Severed Floor? How do you hide in a place like Lumen, who has eyes everywhere? One of the things that they showed us in that stop motion animation, which I actually think was a clue, was the eyes coming into the walls. And when Mark was running through the hallway, the little Mark stop motion figure was running through the hallway, and the eyes came upon the wall and said, hey, stop running in my hallways. I think that was them telling them, like, yeah, we see everything out here. Because how in the hell did they see this right here? How did Lumen know about this? How did Lumen know about this? It's because they are watching everything. And you definitely know that they got to have some securities in the security room itself. So Lumen is watching. So where are they running to? You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people are saying that they're headed back. Somebody said they're headed back. Greg said they're headed back to the tent. You know what? If I was an innie and I just killed Evil Hodor, I'd definitely be trying to just go back to the tent. Like, yo, this might be it for me, baby. Let's just head to the tent real quick. You know what I'm saying? Marshmallows. You know, marshmallows are for team players. You know what I'm saying? I got Gemma to the door. Like, let's go to the tent. Nah, I think they're going to Mammalian's Nurturable. You know what I'm saying? That's where I think they're on their way to. I think they're on their way to Mammalian's Nurturable. And I think they're going to hide. I think they're also going to have help from Lorne, right? Because Lorne, all right, so we're dealing with Any Mark. So Any Mark's last encounter was with Lorne and Evil Hodor. They had to swoop Evil Hodor to get him up out of there, right? So I believe that will probably be the course of action for Mark. Mark is like, yo, let's go to Mammalian's Nurturable. That's how we're going to get it. That's what's going to happen there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, yo, we got okay. We got a super chat via Cash App, and they want to remain anonymous. And we got another one too from Jazz. Thank you very much. We got 2 super chats via Cash App. Yes, indeed. If you donate via Cash App, 100% of your donation goes towards the creation of the Newfoundland or the Newfoundland documentary. So Taryn Matheru and I'm going to Canada with a New York Times best-selling author. If y'all don't know Taryn, with going live with me during the set from season 3, then go check out some of those live streams from back in the day. Like, bro definitely cooks. We all definitely cook. Yo, my man had a really dope theory, and he had a theory that From was planning an alternate ending for season 3 that was supposed to be hitting on April 1st. It didn't happen. Now, I didn't think that it was going to happen, but I definitely wanted it to happen. I felt like season 3 kind of fell short of some things, and it's all good because it's their show and they do what they want to do with the show. You know what I mean? But like, I definitely was hoping for an alternate ending myself, but they do have a couple outs. You know, if you watch From, then you know that they said everything lies here. So, you know, that is their out. They wrote a way out. They didn't write themselves into a corner with this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was really dope that they did that, you know? Yes, indeed. Hold on. Wait a second here. Who is this here? Okay. Yes. Oh, well, thank you. We got another super chat via Cash App. Thank you very much, Robbie. Shout out to Robbie in the chat. I don't even see you in the chat. I didn't see you in the chat. You know what I'm saying? So where do y'all, what are you? Yes, Taryn is also on Discord as well. Taryn is on Discord. Mickey B put that in the chat. Go hop in the Discord. Come in the Discord. We talk about From, Severance, Yellow Jackets. I'm currently going to put up some other ones. Taryn is brilliant. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Appreciate that. Where's Robbie? I don't see your comment in there, Robbie. Go ahead and comment. I'll go ahead and light that up. You know what I'm saying? I'm just in Discord. Yes. Okay. Teresa said O&D makes clubs that kill people. Yes. O&D makes clubs that kill people. I saw that comment that you wrote the other day. I love that comment. Also, how Regabi killed Grainer with the club, with the bat. Yeah, I definitely like that connection. I'd love to see like how they add some more flavor to what O&D is actually doing. We can assume that if O&D was doing those things for the testing floor, okay, then there are more people down there. Not only down there, but there are probably other testing floors and other facilities. Or what if there's a testing floor under the testing floor and one under that? What if it just continuously goes down? We did hear Mark and Helly joking about a building that continued to grow so big that it became a country, right? And so when they were talking about the equator, so maybe they were alluding to that. And I know a lot of people don't like the whole idea of Helly being pregnant, but I think that Helly is pregnant, and I think that's going to be a major plot point for season 3. It would have been dope if they would have revealed it in season 2. You know what I'm saying? But maybe she doesn't even know yet. Maybe she doesn't even know, you know? Let's see here. Okay. Let's see. What are y'all talking about down here? So I think, like I said, I think they're going to Mamali and Nurturable. And if they go to Mamali and Nurturable, that's going to be fire. That's going to be lit. That's a good thing, right? What y'all think about that? I think they're going to Mamali and Nurturable. I think Dylan might even end up bringing the band, the marching band, with him at some point. Maybe, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That would be super cool. Like if he was able to get these guys to go along with it. That last shot of Dylan and the C&M, yeah, that was crazy. Not gonna lie. Hey, we got another one from Flat Satire. We appreciate you. More Ricken theories, please. Flat Satire came through with the super chat via Cash App and says more Ricken theories, please. Yes, we will get to the Ricken theories. If you have a membership, you have access to the members only live stream that we did with reading the UR. But I haven't really got heavy into any Ricken theories yet. Now that season 2 is over, I think I have enough information that I can definitely cook up some stuff with Ricken. I mean, I've been sprinkling a little bit of stuff here and there throughout the videos. You know, we talked about his friends a little bit possibly being severed. I think they are. I think there are a lot of people that are severed. But, you know, James's whole siring in the shadows thing definitely puts some light on what may be going on or what may be the reason why a lot of people are severed in this place. I don't think it's just like some religious cult thing. I think they have been severing people to probably cover up crimes and all kinds of shit. You know what I'm saying? So, and also we had Natalie on the news in season 1 debating with that journalist about a severed employee becoming pregnant on the severed floor only 2 months after working there. Only had been there working there for 2 months and boom, ends up pregnant. So you know that adds a little bit to that mystery. You know what I'm saying? I definitely will be getting into some more Ricken theories. Ricken is definitely tied into a lot here, and all of the clues with Ricken are very subtle, but they're there in your face, but they're subtle. Like they've not really shown anything other than Natalie reaching out to Ricken to write UUR for the innies, right? That's all they've really done to show him interacting with Lumen, and he seemed to be very excited about it. I wonder, some people are saying that he might be a bastard Eagan. You know what I'm saying? And I'm wondering if he is a bastard Eagan, does he know about it? Does he even know about it? Is he aware of it? You know what I'm saying? Some Ricken theories we definitely have to deal with during the off season, because I think we'll get some more of that, you know, during season 3. I definitely think we're gonna get more of that. Mammalians nurturable. I know that it seems like kind of just like arbitrary at this point for some people, even me a little bit, that Mammalians nurturable is just the place where they house the sacrificial animals. Like that could be what that is. That would be fire, you know. At the same time, I want to see more about Mammalians nurturable. I mean, we got Lauren. I want to know why that guy was wearing that goat suit. Like, what is that even about? And these people look like the young people that should be at Salt's Neck, for real. Like, you know, they just look like people from Salt's Neck. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they just bring them to Kier every day for work. Like, this dude is definitely, you know, something off of Narnia or some shit. So, like, some of these dudes look crazy as hell. Bro right here look like a Jamaican goat farmer. Like, he takes some of the goats back home and sells them shits in the basement. Like, he has chopped up goat parts in the basement. Like, bro. And bro over here looks like another Narnia character. Like, yeah. So what is going on with these people? I want to hear more about the Mammalians nurturable. And I really do hope that is where Helly and Mark are headed to. You know what I'm saying? I hope that is where they're headed to. Or I would love even a mixture of both. If they ran back to O&D or MDR and went and got those guys and then took them to Mammalians nurturable, that would be fire. You know what I'm saying? Brandy said, "Oh my God, you're right. They were kidnapped from Salt's Neck." Yes, indeed. You know, if somebody went through there and was like, "Yo, we going to Salt's Neck. Everybody that looked like they got a salty neck, bring them and put them in the van. We taking them. And that's how these guys ended up in there. This dude looks like old Buju Banton. Like what? Yo, this is Patton's grandpa right here, yo. This right here, that's what they should do. Call Ben Stiller, tell him I said, write this brother right here in as Patton's grandfather. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you already know. He looked like the dude from the man in black say he looked like the dude from Django. Oh man. bro right here. Bro right here looked like the old head that was playing dice on Harlem Nights. The dice boy that pulled out the switchblade on Harlem Nights. Yo, I ain't gonna cut on into. Yo, I ain't gonna cut into him that heavy. Hold on, what y'all said in the chat? Brandy said Grady from Sanford and Son. Yo, Kyle said Shaba. Bro, look like Shaba Ranks. Mr. Loverman. Them call me Mr. Loverman. They call me Mr. Lover. Yo, this is crazy. Y'all in here. Yo, Wagwan Coreano. Yeah. Yo, I love it. That's crazy. I'm glad that I have an audience that has a sense of humor as well. Because I'll be over here ranking on these characters and shit. And some people be like, you're mean. I'm not mean. We just joking and shit. You know, we just got jokes. I hope bro don't really... I'm sure bro don't look like this at home. I mean, I'm sure bro ain't out there looking like that in his real life and shit. Like, if he showed up to the audition for Severance like this, they said, you know what? They probably based the whole GOAT room off of him. They had to be like, yo, this guy shows up. You know what? He'd be perfect if we were to write in a GOAT room with a bunch of downtrodden people. Like, let's go ahead. You know what I'm saying? I see Big Heck. What Big Heck laughing at? Oh yeah, meanie. Yeah, somebody called me a meanie in the chat because I be roasting the characters. Nah, it's all in fun. It's all in good fun. Flat Satire says, you got goats, Brienne of Tarth, a marching band, O&D 3D printed hatches, and Grady, Crazy Eyes, Cobell. You win. Nah, for real. Like, what was the dude Crazy Eyes was in Mr. Deeds? Yo, funny enough, John Turturro played in Mr. Deeds. He was the Spanish butler dude. Very, very sneaky, sir. This bro was just popping up everywhere with socks and everything. And he liked to, and speaking of some Game of Thrones shit, he had a foot fetish. He liked to put his socks on people. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what's going on. He from the caveman commercials. Yeah. Y'all are killing me. I'm trying to drive. Nah, this the type of show you might have to pull over for. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be driving with this on right there. I might say something just out the way real quick. You never know. Explaining this show to people that ain't watched it, they think you was on an acid trip. Especially now that they done told us that they making multiple innies out of one chip. Like, that's what fucked everything up for me. How do I even explain the show anymore? Because before I used to be like, yo, you know, you go to work and you forget about your home life and you go back home and you don't know what went down at work. But now it's like they doing way more shit with the chip. You know what I mean? I have a good question for you guys. I really want some answers on this. What does James revolving mean? Like, does James revolving have anything to do with the Cold Harbor file being finished? You know what I'm saying? I know he's supposed to have this revolving situation, but does that actually have anything to do with Cold Harbor? And now that Cold Harbor is foiled, here's another question. Do you think Cold Harbor is foiled? Was their objective to only make the multiple innies? Because I think that they had established that before the Cold Harbor file was finished, that they could make the multiple innies. So was it just to actually check the barrier and that severance barrier? I don't know. Like, what do you think? You know what I'm saying? Just Jeff in the building comes with the super chat. Thank you, family. And he says, what the writer said about the goats was disappointing. They added them just because it was weird. It had no real deep story behind it. And you know what? I touched on this before. I'm glad you brought that up, Just Jeff, because I don't just like jumping out the window with this stuff. Like, I love when something someone says kind of sparks the conversation, because I don't want people thinking like I'm bugged out. But here it is. I think that there's a hidden hand in Hollywood that tells everybody what type of symbolism to put in their shows. Do the showrunners and creators actually know why they're doing it? I don't know. I don't know if they're aware of that stuff. You see what I'm saying? But I believe that there's a hidden hand. And I do know for a fact that there's a hidden hand in the music industry that tells people what to put in their music. It tells people what to put in their music videos, their album cover artwork, photo shoots. Okay? That's a bona fide fact. If anybody tries to say anything, oh no, that's not true, and that they're lying. They are fucking lying. Okay? There is a hidden hand in the music industry that tells people what to put in their music, whether it be guns, drugs, you know, degeneracy, whatever, worship of evil forces, brainwashing, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it may be, whatever the agenda is. If you're in that industry on a certain level, they tell you what to say. As a matter of fact, I'll even do you one better. In order to get your advancement for your albums and shit, you have to submit the album and they have to approve the shit first. You know what I'm saying? And they try to make it look funny. They try to make it look funny by acting like it's a matter of clearing all of the samples and clearing all of the stuff with the producers and the writers and all of the arrangers and stuff like that. But what they're really doing is they're scouring that music for symbolism and imagery. And that's just the truth. So you got to think about it, right? Some of these albums are on a two-digit thousand budget. You know what I'm saying? Like tens of thousands of dollars. These movies are on millions of dollars budgets. These TV shows are millions of dollars an episode. So they're not just going to leave that up to creative chance, right? I think that there are hidden properties within the industry that does put out certain symbolism, purpose. Now, do I think that's necessarily like a bad thing? No, I don't. And do I think it's evil and all of that? No, I don't. I'm not one of those guys that's over here like, yo, they all trying to get us to worship the devil and blah blah blah. Like, no, that's not what I believe this is at all. I call that kind of talk spooky talk. It's not spooky at all. You know what I'm saying? It's a real thing. It's not a joke. They're really doing it. So let's talk about like what is the real objective. And I think that they are communicating to one another. And I think they're also communicating to people like ourselves who notice symbolism in shows and things of that nature. I know that a lot of things happen in our reality, and I'm able to think about how it was shown to us in television shows already. I don't know if that's some sort of gift. I don't know if it's just some sort of like mixture with me studying those things at a young age and then having a fascination with the artwork of storytelling and movies. I love anime. I love cartoons. I love TV shows. I love especially like cerebral ones that get you to really think. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's a mixture of those things that I'm able to then later see like, yo, they was telling us that shit in the show, or they was telling us this shit in like 5-6 movies. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's a mixture of that, but if it's happening to me, then it has to be happening to other people. Like, I'm sure other people are noticing these reoccurring symbolism. You know what I'm saying? The man in black says it's about control. The man in black says it's about control. Yeah, it could be about several things. I don't think it's just this easy answer. I don't think there's an easy answer for this on what it is and what it actually does and what the meaning of it is. I think there's several different answers, and you wouldn't have a mechanism in place that's so large that spreads throughout multiple TV studios, multiple writers, multiple shows and actors, right? And then multiple studios like the actual streaming services, Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, whoever, right? Max and all of these different joints. You wouldn't have that in there just for it to like achieve one thing. I think it's multiple reasons why we see symbolism that mirror throughout the shows. You know what I'm saying? I think the definite reason is that there's a hidden hand. There's a hidden organization inside of it all. You know what I'm saying? Now, do I think this is bad? No, because I'm one of those that don't think the Baphomet is bad, because I've done the research on the Baphomet, right? And I understand that the Baphomet means so many different things. Even the 5-point star. The 5-point star is not bad. People associate the pentagram with Satanism and devil worship, and they even attribute it to the Baphomet. But these are people who have not studied the actual lore behind these things, right? Because the pentagram actually once represented Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like when you saw the pentagram, that represented Jesus once upon a time. Like people would see the pentagram when we're talking about like the upside down pentagram. You know what I'm saying? It represented Jesus at one point. As a matter of fact, the 5 points of that star actually represent the 5 wounds that were carried out onto Jesus. The two in his hand, the 2 in his feet, and the 1 in his side, right? That's what the pentagram actually meant. Long before people attributed it to Satanism, devil worship, the Baphomet, it represented Jesus, right? And so you find these similarities with multiple symbols and symbolism. Like even you find the same thing with the swastika, right? A lot of people attribute that to Nazism and the whole Operation Paperclip stuff and underground society. When the swastika actually represented the Bindu, or the dot, the yud, the dot that everything came from. It also represented the family unit, peace, love, unity. It also represented that. The swastika used to actually mean peace. You know what I'm saying? So like these are actual facts. Like, someone could argue with you. Ha, somebody said Kanye, call in. Yo, I didn't even see who said that. That was that was family Kier Egan. Yo, that's funny as hell. I have not watched the Kanye interview yet. Now, just a little bit about me. I'm not one of those people that you can trigger, right? You can't trigger me. You could say, like, a white dude could say nigger in front of me. I'm not going to be triggered by that because I'm not a dog. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a dog that you could say hit, sit, heel, roll over. And I react in the way that you think I'm going to react. Now, I do have a reaction, but I have a reaction on the inner part of myself. The reaction that I have is like, okay, I listened to the way he said it, everything. I listened to everything about it. And I would say to myself, okay, now I got to keep my eyes on this individual. I have to understand this individual's mind and purpose and what they're around me for. And I have to get away from this person if I need to. Like I react to things in that kind of manner, right? Because like, you know, all that type of shit, like he, you know, him coming with a pointed hood on his head is to be triggering some, you know what I'm saying? However, I'm one to listen and see what everybody's talking about before. I'm definitely not one of those to let the common opinion of people sway my own personal opinion. Like I'm not a parrot either. I'm not a dog and I'm not a parrot. I'm not gonna sit here and everybody's sitting here saying the same thing. You know, I'm not gonna say the same thing that everyone's saying. I'm most likely, I mean shit, like my my YouTube page is a testament to that. Like I'm not saying the same shit other channels are saying. You might find channels biting my shit, but I don't say, you know, my shit is more unique. So I just kind of stay, you know, I think more rational. Yes, Man in Black says rational thinker. Yeah. So me seeing Kanye with that hood on his head or whatever, I'm gonna watch the interview. I stay away from stuff. I don't hop on shit the same time everybody else hops on. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times I see something totally different, you know, than what a lot of people see in it anyway. Like for instance, the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl joint. Somebody was like, yo, real, you gotta break that down. You gotta break down the symbology in that. And like I was like, nah, because I see the symbolism that everybody's talking about, but that's the smoke screen. There's a way big, deeper symbolism in Kendrick Lamar's performance, even all the way down from Samuel Jackson's appearance. Like you have the Baphomet was appearing in that. Samuel L. Jackson represented the Baphomet in that. I didn't see anyone say that. He wore the Uncle Sam get up. Uncle Sam is a derivative of the Baphomet. I don't know if you guys knew that, but that's why he has the pentagram on his head, just like the Baphomet. A lot of times in those depictions, you'll see the light above Uncle Sam's head, and that is just like the light on the candle that's on the Baphomet's head. It represents enlightenment. You know what I'm saying? I also understand, like, all right, so you have the Baphomet. Yes, original thinker. What's up? Bill Chill is in the building. Good to see you as always. You know what I'm saying? Bill Chill had me rolling when I did the Uncle Ben's Black Kier joint. I did the Uncle Ben's joint. He said Uncle, what did he say? Uncle Kier's minute couscous. That shit had me in stitches. Bill Chill is funny, yo. Bill Chill definitely had me. Uncle Sam wants you. Exactly. That's the Baphomet. It definitely represents the Baphomet. But when you also have to understand the Baphomet represents many different things. The Baphomet represents Timothob. You know what I'm saying? Timothob was the father-in-law of Shiva. Shiva cut his head off and put the head of a goat on him. The father didn't like Shiva because Shiva smoked the ganja and dealt with the man's daughter. And so, you know, Shiva didn't work in the fields. Shiva didn't do any of these things. And Shiva smite him and cut his head off and put the head of a goat on his head and replaced his head. And his name became Timothob, right? And that is Baphomet backwards, right? But there's a lot of different aspects to the Baphomet that people don't understand. So when I see something like this in a television show, I'm not like just automatically cashing it out as evil, right? They're trying to tell you something. They're trying to tell you a deeper meaning. You know what I'm saying? Like here we are with this picture right here. Mark sitting inside of the head is him sitting inside of it's the seat of the soul. It's the seat of the soul. I'm telling you that they're talking about pineal gland. They're definitely bringing the pineal reference. A lot of people was like, yo, you bugging with that. But then a lot of people was showing me so much love because they was like, nah, I see that. I can totally see it. I can't even unsee it now. I'm looking for some of those pictures. Let me see if I can do something here. Pardon me. Bring this back in a second. Because there were some other pictures that we definitely need to pay attention to. Hold on just a second. All right. Yeah, the pineapple gland. You know what I'm saying? The pineal and hippocampus. Yes, indeed. Yes. The pineal gland is one of your best symbolism breakdowns. Why, thank you, Greg, very much. Drummond got his pineapple split. Indeed, he did. Indeed. Between the duality of the Baphomet and do what thou will, it abolishes the ultimate truth and moral compass of absolute right and ultimate reality. Now, you know, a lot of people don't know, but see, by the time we had things like do what thou will, that's a Crowley moniker right there, right? By the time we had that, yes, a Baphomet is a motif that represents the 7 principles of Hermeticism. Indeed, it does. But it's also a lot of other different things. And that's what I was talking about. By the time we had something like do what thou wilt, that was Crowley's influence. That, you know, that came from a lot of the Crowley stuff. And, you know, Aleister Crowley is where a lot of Hollywood symbolism is in a Crowleyan nature, if that is a word, if that's even a word. But Crowleyan, yeah, I just coined that term, I guess. But that's who they were following. You know, you had a lot of people in Hollywood around that time that followed Crowley. You had Jack Parsons, you know what I'm saying? Ivan von Bjorner, you know what I'm saying? You had, and these were people, some of these people actually came through Operation Paperclip as well. You know, Crowley's sexual magic is disturbing. You know, there were a lot of Crowley influences in the Changeling. You know what I'm saying? The Changeling had tons of it, you know. But I made a mistake in my last video when I talked about Mark being the first time we seen a Severance transition going through the door. Yeah, Warner von Braun. Yes, indeed, Kyle. Thank you for that. The first time we saw it was with Helly going through that staircase door. I don't know why I said that was the first time, but I think I was meaning the first time that season. Like, we hadn't seen it that season, but we did see it before in the very first episode. But them going through the doorways, and there's something with the door factory situation. Now, I know that the writer he wrote this working at a door factory, actually. And he said that at Paley Fest. I thought that was fire. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Okay, yeah, Led Zeppelin was pushing Crowley. There's actually a Aleister Crowley connection in the Muppets theory with one of their special guests on the OG Muppet shows. Muppet was originally named Sex and Violence. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, Mr. Crowley, won't you ride your white horse? Oh, Mr. Crowley, it's symbolic, of course. Yo, get down. Get down. Alice Cooper's appearance on the Muppet Show. Yeah, all of those things definitely hold heavy symbolism. You know what I'm saying? Grouchy said Ozzy. Was Ozzy there? Was Ozzy ever on the Muppets? That's crazy. I remember seeing a Richard Pryor skit where he was Richard Pryor hated Ozzy Osbourne. Richard Pryor did a skit one time on the Richard Pryor show where he imitated Ozzy Osbourne giving drugs to all the kids in the audience. And then, like, by the end of the show, all the kids was dead. He was out there acting like Ozzy Osbourne. It's one of Richard Pryor's most funniest skits, actually. You know what I'm saying? Richard Pryor's, I don't know if you hip to the Richard Pryor show. There was only a few episodes. They canceled it. His show was dropping so much knowledge and esoteric symbolism, it was ridiculous. And we're talking about late 70s, early 80s. Like, you know, he had a Saturday Night Live style show, a skit show, you know what I'm saying? And it was definitely better than Saturday Night Live. They could never, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think, all right, so that symbolism, we got to this by talking about the Mammalian nerve trouble. Like, what the fuck was this guy wearing, yo? Why was he wearing that outfit? What was that about? What is their deal with these animals? You know what I'm saying? What is their deal with the animals? You know what is their connection to the animals? Are those goats just some sacrificial tools in the game here? Is that just what they were there for? You know what I mean? And a lot of people think that they're gonna run back to Dylan with these guys here. You know what I'm saying? I think they're probably gonna run back to Mammalian Nurturable, or I believe that if they do run back with Dylan and them, then they'll probably also try to get these people to go back to Mammalian Nurturable. Hold on, what y'all talking about in there? Okay. Sun Wukong, what's up? What's up, real? What's up, chat? I missed out on the miscellaneous Gab and real live stream. I was bummed as hell. Yo, that live stream was so fire. And I have gotten a lot of people coming over from miscellaneous Gab's channel and showing up for real. I appreciate all of you coming from her channel. And I would love to, I hope some of you guys went over there and showed love and, you know, let her know y'all want to see another one. You know what I mean? We'll do it on her channel next time. I definitely had a great time with her. I wish my voice would have been better. I'm still working on it. It's coming back. You know, yeah, we definitely got to get in the building for another one. That was so much fun. We had such a good show. She's so dope, and her thoughts be right on point, you know. And nobody agrees on everything. Like, we don't all agree on everything, but we all have fun with these theories. I thought that was fire. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. That was definitely one of the best collab. That is the best collab I've ever done. You know what I'm saying? With somebody else on the stream with me. That one was fire right there. And everybody enjoyed that too. It's definitely got replay value. Like, you can go watch that. That one that's heat, definitely. Let me see. Yes, indeed, Sun Wukong. Oh yeah, Kyle know what I'm talking about. Mooney was a hell of a writer, and that's where a lot of that esoteric stuff was coming from. Paul Mooney, you know what I mean? But Mooney and Richard Pryor, like, oh man, they had a serious falling out. Like, shit's crazy. Nobody really talked about that shit, and then Paul Mooney passed away. But yeah, you know, who else we got in here? What y'all talking about? Sunshine Chick is in the building. What's good, sis? She said Dope Thief on Apple TV is pretty good. I might check that out. I saw this new show that just popped up on Amazon with Kevin Bacon. I tried to watch it today and check out some of it. I just wanted to catch like a 15 minutes and see if I was going to be interested in it. I'm going to tell you, I'm interested in it. I got to watch it though and see how many episodes it has out. But it's pretty fire from the beginning so far. Like, right in the beginning, it turns up. He's like some kind of bounty hunter. And he uses a beehive to make the guys run up out of the hotel room. Like, he puts a beehive in the hotel room and tries to make the guys run out. But they tricked him, and one of them slits his throat. And he dies right there in the first couple minutes of the episode. And they stuff him inside the wall. And they was going to burn down the whole little motel, but then he wakes up alive. So, I mean, all of that's in the first few minutes, so I'm not spoiling nothing for you. But, you know, go check it out. That's all in the first few minutes. It's pretty dope. I forget what the name of it was. I might check it out, may cover it here, may do some live streams, may just talk about it a little something. I don't know. You know what I mean? But Kier Egan says, yeah, I'm watching Dope Thief. Yeah, I might check that out. Why not? It was something else on Apple TV I was watching too. What was that? Let me see what that was. It was something like hold on, let me go. I'm signing into my I'm signing into my Apple TV real quick so I can see what I was actually watching. What was that show called? It was a new show. Oh man, I don't know what the name of that show was, but it was pretty fire. Dope Thief. I'm definitely gonna check out Dope Thief. Dope Thief looks good. I'm gonna check it out. Is it anything like? What is it like? Break it down to me? What it's about? What does the show talk about? What is the show hit for? Oh, we got the wonderful Beverly in the building. She says 61 likes. Hit that like button. Oh, only 61 likes. We got 120 some people in here. Let's go. Let's get those likes up. A lot of time people be watching from the TV and can't hit the like. No, it's like 97 likes in here. We good. Refresh your page. We good. I appreciate everybody who liked and hit that like. We almost at 100. Let's get us to 110. Let's go. It's like 134 people in here. I know we can do it. Sun Wukong said, Dope Thief is about two dudes running a scam pretending they're the feds, but they messed up with the wrong drug mule. Ooh, okay. They were posing as DE agents robbing trap houses. Oh. Yeah, I might have to get into that. If it's coming from Apple TV, it'll be good. I really wanted to cover Raising Canaan, but it's just not up to speed, yo. Shout out to all those people there. I don't know. It's just the level of storytelling y'all coming with. I don't know what it is, but y'all definitely have not been cooking on this. Like, the story is the story, but the it's the way you execute it. And it's just not hitting right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I see. You see 111 likes, then we did it. Thanks everybody for liking. Thanks for the likes, for sure. Indeed. They're free. You know what I mean? Just hit it. Let everybody know you here. Share this joint. Tell them to get on in here. We in here cooking. I'm actually going to open up the chat or open up the panel to see if anybody wants to come up and see what anybody else has to say. What have been your thoughts on the season? And since, I know everybody's minds has got all kinds of theories and things. Like, what are your theories? What are your thoughts? You know what I'm saying? Here's the StreamYard thing. I'm going to give out some more memberships real quick since we got over 100 people in here. Go ahead and hit some memberships real quick for y'all. Hey. Yes. Okay, we got some of them. We got some of them in there. Gifts the memberships. Yes. If you got one of the memberships, celebrate with them emojis. Have some fun. You dig? Okay. Please check out the Severance podcast with Ben Stiller and Adam Scott. You'll really dig it. Yeah, I have. You know what? I have not caught one episode of that. I caught pieces of it. I always catch pieces of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm never on Twitter. I understand that that's where they give it. Oh yes, if you got one of the memberships, you are welcome very, very much. You know what I'm saying? Yes, the Severance podcast is great. I heard from the clips and things that people send me, I definitely rock with it. You know what I'm saying? I know one thing, Mark Geller has been on a good run of doing interviews, and his interviews are pretty dope. He for him to be a character that's not actually on the show and just his likeness being used, he gives some really good ass interviews. And just from his perspective of how he sees the character and all of that. It's a lot like my own. I see Kier is being this like snake oil salesman kind of dude. Like anybody that has like, you know, anybody that has kind of like a cult following where they got you worshiping them and all of that kind of stuff, talking about drink of their water and all of that type of shit. Yeah, that definitely. Oh, Dawn says they need to have you on as a guest. That would be awesome. Like, yeah, I would definitely love to be on a podcast with Ben Stiller and Adam Scott and these people. You know, that would be super dope. You know, let's see here. We got a couple people in the building. Sierra says, I'm not doing too good. I'm just joining instead of getting ready for an episode to drop. Yeah, we're not doing too good. We're here to support each other on this. We're here to support each other on this for sure. We definitely, this is the wellness session. This is not even your like average live stream. You know what I'm saying? One of James says, what's up, real? What's going on? You know, straight from the birthing cottage, we got one of James in the building. Yes, indeed. We got Fool Pyramid and Danny P here. We're going to do this thing a little different. I'm going to bring both of them up at the same time. And since it's only two of them, it'll be three of us. Let's try not to cut each other off. Let's try to listen to everybody's points. Definitely want to get everybody up here so we can have a good one. You don't have to cam up or anything like that. You're good without it. You're good with it. It's up to you. And yeah, let's go for it. First off, we got a super chat from Terrell. Good looking Terrell on that. You know what I'm saying? Ricken might be an Eagan. Cobell love that baby. Yo, no shit. That's real. There's a lot of things that give that possibility of being true. But yeah, that's a good thing that we can get into. A little bit of Ricken. Let's get into a little bit of Ricken theories real quick. Fool Pyramid, what's going on? Danny P, what's going on with you?
What's good?
How's everybody doing? Fool Pyramid, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. You hear me?
Yes, indeed. I hear you now. I hear everybody
Okay,
good. Danny P, what's popping?
Nothing much. You hear me?
Yes, hear you loud and clear. Everything is good. So, Fool Pyramid, Danny P, I'm gonna ask both of y'all pretty much. What are your thoughts on, this is a double question. Where do you think Helly and Mark are running? And what are your thoughts on Ricken? And do you think that they kind of hid some things from us with Ricken? I'll go to Fool Pyramid first.
All right, so let's see. Let me start with Ricken. I think there's a chance they could be doing more with that, but I like to think of him more as like a kind of like laughable idiot guy. You know, like he helps relieve some of the tension in the show. So I think making it too deep with him could maybe take away some of that from it, the fun that I have with him. But I do see where people are coming from with the goat stuff. Like his friends are hella weird, you know, like Rebecca. She does like the whole smelling funny stuff. To touch on that, the mammalian nurturable people, they there's that one guy when they pan to like everybody in the room, there's that one like older dude with the kind of scraggly hair. And he does a bit of a goat chew. I don't know if anyone noticed that.
What, the one from the mammalian nurturable you said?
Yeah, one of the older guys, as it pans, like the camera cuts to each person, he does a quick like.
Noticed some of that.
Yeah, he chews like a goat real quick.
Yeah, I definitely noticed some of that. I definitely noticed some of their actions were funny, and yes, Joy says Ricken is a goat. Groucho said Ricken is a goat. Yeah. All right, so what's going on? Ricken, did you read or listen to the UUR?
Yeah, I definitely did. I don't know about who else is with us again.
We got Danny P. So I was asking you. You listened. So did you hear about how? Did you hear about how like Ricken, his parents were like, you know, performance actors?
Oh yeah, dude. I definitely listened to the UUR a couple of times when it first dropped. I love that. Like, yeah, it was like he came from a weird family. They had money already. like that, then that leads, credence to when people are like, oh, is he secretly an Eagan? Because
Got
they
money.
be signing all over the place, right? Like, so I'm thinking like, there may be some distant cousin or something. If there is a link there, and I mean, with all the goat imagery in his house, something's up, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, there's a lot of gold imagery in his house. You know what I'm saying? All right, so where do you think that Mark and Helly are running to?
I think they're running back to Dylan. That's their first thing. They got to get back to Dylan. They ain't gonna leave him hanging. So what they do from there, I'm a little bit confused. I still feel like things are gonna calm down eventually. Like the music people might like slowly just make it way back to their place, and then they'll meet them later. Like we'll find out where their home base looks like later. But I think I still think I was joking about the waffle party, but half not joking. Like I literally think Mark S is gonna want to know what that's about. He's like, Dylan got one, I want one. So
Right? Okay, that he's gonna want a waffle party.
yeah, because he completed the task, right? He said he got 100%. I mean, Gem is not there no more, but he
Okay, so
completed it.
all right. I'm gonna pause on that for a second and go to Danny P. Danny P, what's good with you, fam?
Everything's fine. Yeah. I don't think there are anything in particular so much so as it's the beginning of the next chapter where Mark will sort of lead any revolt. I think the whole series is leading up to it. From his name, there's some weird background noise, but from his name is basically just Marx, like Karl Marx, and a lot of the themes in the show are very communist flavored, and I think he'll eventually do some sort of in-year revolt and try to create his own society, at least for a little bit. So that's his real goal.
Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, so he's all right. So I can smell where both of you are coming from, and I paused on what Fool Pyramid was saying because I wanted to ask a question. What do you guys think now the outlook with Lumen is now? Or does Mark, from what Fool Pyramid is saying, it sounds like he thinks Mark is going to try to be subservient to Lumen by jumping right back into the game, by saying, hey, I want my waffle party like everybody else got theirs. Oh, yes, we got some beautiful feminine energy coming up on the stage with us real quick. We got Joy in the building. How you doing, Joy?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey,
we hear you.
Joy.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all. How's everybody doing tonight?
All is
Pretty
well.
good.
All is well. I think we hit a good spot of this conversation real quick. What is Mark's disposition with Lumen at this point? Is he going, like Food Pyramid says, he's going to straight up want to fulfill his waffle party thing? Like Food Pyramid says that he's going to want to get right back into the swing of things maybe. Is that what you're saying, Food Pyramid?
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. The last time Mark and his Innie had a conversation, they were kind of at odds a little bit. And at best, all they got out of their deal was that he was going to get Gemma out, and that was it.
Okay, what's your thoughts on that, Joy? Like, what do you think Mark is going to be like with Lumen going forward? Now, I just want to add this in. He's killed Evil Hodor. Where do we go from here?
Right? He's killed Evil Hodor. His work is done. So where does he go from here? I mean, if he leaves his floor, he automatically becomes outie Mark. So
Right.
any Mark and Helly R can't have any kind of life together because they're only alive on that floor of Lumen. They only exist on that floor of Lumen.
Right. Now, okay, so is what Cobell said opening us up to the possibilities of them possibly being able to tune their chip into different places? Because what I don't understand, if his chip is only tied to that severed floor, then how was she able to get him into the birthing cottage?
So he was only any Mark when he was in the cottage. Literally, when he walked outside the door onto the patio terrace or whatever, he became outie Mark. So
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly. We got a couple more people in the building. Hold on. We got Rick Rock. Okay, we got Rick Rock in the building. What's going on, Rick Rock?
Yo, what's good? It's Exist. The guy with the
Exist.
Muppet
What's
theory is
going on?
going crazy.
Good to see you. Good to see you. We still rocking out. Let's let everybody, have their time with the mic real quick. Finish, Joy, what you were saying?
I was just saying, I don't know what the special magic is about the birthing cabins. I hope that they expound upon that in the next season, but you never know with Severance. Sometimes they just let things lie.
Okay. So the thing that I was thinking is possibly that cabin was set to do some sort of maybe OTC, maybe. But here's the thing. There's a big issue with that birthing cabin and Cobell saying that it was his chip. It couldn't have been anything at the security desk at the birthing cottage with the lady. Cobell did ask them to turn on some sort of protocol. I gotta go back and see what she asked them to do. But as she was driving away, she told him to do something. I forget exactly what it was.
Oh, the protocol was the name of the Twilight Zone episode.
Right, the name of the Twilight Zone thing. Exactly. Okay, so she asked for that. And my problem with that is her saying that his chip is only acclimated to that floor. Or programmed for that floor. Another problem with that is the OTC. Because it makes it sound like the OTC protocol is the only way we can wake up at any. Now, if Cobell is asking for some sort of protocol by way of the name of the Twilight Zone episode, or what they said in that Twilight Zone episode, it totally skips me. I didn't even talk about it in my video. But then how would it work on Mark? Because Mark was secretly in the back of the truck, right? So how would it work on Mark if the security guard didn't even know that that Mark was there?
You know what she said might not have related to Mark's ship. It just might have related to what that Devin was supposed to be pregnant with James Spawn, right? So
right.
Like we can always then extrapolate and assume that Devin must be severed, quote unquote, to be one of James' pregnant people. So she may have said that, to turn on this protocol because we need to birth this person and they can't remember it when they wake up or some shit. May have nothing to do with Mark is what I'm saying.
Right. So it may be something that is a capability of that birthing cottage's door threshold. Like it may be something that cottage can do. It obviously has some sort of technology like the elevator inside of the doorway. Like when you go through that door, it has some sort of technology. I mean, as soon as he walked into the birthing cottage, he became the innie. And even when he walked outside on the terrace, he also became the outie. You see what I'm saying? So it has to be some sort of thing there, that emulates OTC. That's the only thing I can think of, because we do know that Mark's innie was able to be at Devin and Ricken's house at the book reading. So it had to be some sort of OTC protocol that this cabin interacts with.
But we're still talking about the innie living a half life. Even if they can go to that cabin or be turned on outside on some overtime contingency, they still don't get a full life. Because that would rub out outie Mark if the innie gets a full life. It's this battle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's only one Gemma and one Helly, and one of these, there's only one Mark.
Ooh. Teresa comes through with the super chat. Thank you very much, fam. She says, Devin and Cobell are the women on the egg plate push the child Mark to do what they want him to do. Yo, that's fire.
Fire.
That's so fucking fire.
Ooh.
And on top of it, right? Because I'm sure everybody had a theory about the kid sitting in the chair was any Mark. So that just rolls right along with it, and it doesn't change anything. It definitely puts it more into perspective because they were the ones ending up doing that. Then you could also look at it metaphorically, but it looked like it was Devin and Colbell actually, right? Because if you look at it the other way, it puts the two women at odds. Like if you look at it like it's Gemma and Helly, then it puts them at odds, right? But these two women seem to be not at odds, and they wanted this kid to do that. It seemed like they were both trying to get this kid to sit down in that chair and take some sort of punishment. And that fits that plate better than anything I've ever heard, actually. Devin and Colbell are the women on the egg plate. Oh, most definitely. Fire. So fire. So fire. I love it. I love it. What does anybody else have to say? Exist. What's good?
Hey, what's going on? I was sort of paying attention, but I was thinking about the birthing cottage and how when Mark went there, he had the whole camcorder conversation with himself. So he became aware of at least a point in time of his innie's existence and his outie's existence, and sort of birthed himself as a new person, unifying his innie and his outie for that memory that he formed there, which kind of created him as a new hybrid innie or outie. What is he exactly? I'm not quite sure.
Another throuple.
Yeah. I also thought about the statues by the fireplace that looked like Kier at first blush, but then it kind of looked like Ricken. And it made me think back to the season 1 finale reference when Ricken goes outside during the reading break and he's like, I feel like a fat, dumb hamburger waiter. And that's actually part of Muppet's theory too. I told you I got a lot of Muppet stuff here, and it sounds batshit crazy, pardon my French, but I can speak on some of that if you're interested.
Yeah, let's get into a little bit of the Muppet theory. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? First, we definitely gotta.
Fathead Muppet.
Are you showing the fatted Muppet clip? So that's one of the things after hearing Bert and Irving, the characters Bert and Irving have a phonetic similarity with Bert and Ernie, right?
Yes.
So that was sort of in the back of my head from season 1, and I was like, oh, it's just a coincidence. And then we got Fetid Moppet, which was a big meme on the show, and you look it up, it's like dirty sock or something, but it also kind of sounds like
or something. Dirty, smelly kid.
Yeah, but it kind of sounds like Dirty Muppet. But then I started looking into, I've looked down so many different labyrinths. Actually, if you look at the hallways of Labyrinth, you're not quite sure if it's a labyrinth or a maze. Whereas a maze is intended to get you lost, a labyrinth is kind of meant to be a meditative path that there's no way to get lost. You just continue along the path. But Jim Henson, he created the Muppets, and he did a movie called The Labyrinth. He had the Muppets show, which was super meta. I've said this word a lot, meta, but it's like taking the basic idea of something and then abstracting it. So you have puppets that are, the idea of puppets through history, shadow puppets, or the jester entertaining a king with a sock style puppet. With shadow puppets, you have the idea of using light to project onto a screen and holding up objects behind it to get them to act out things that wouldn't be as easy or as comfortable or appropriate to do in different times. There's a weird relationship in Severance and Lumen with light. We often see like a weird angle of light. You can almost think of a puppeteer as someone who has a weird relationship with light, as they're underneath a stage where with their left hand, even if they're right hand dominant, they typically hold a puppet up in the air. And then they use their right hand to control the hands of that puppet or that Muppet. Well, if you look at when Mark goes into overtime the overtime protocol at first, he has a confusion of the directions he's going. He doesn't really know. He thinks the bathroom's one way or the baby's another, and then it's either Devin or Cobell that points him in the right direction. And it's kind of like, are you all right? I think there's some sort of confusion here. But back with the Burton Irving thing, cut me off whenever, because this list is long and I've got AI to try to organize it for me. But when Helly wakes up in episode 1, she's laying on a table, sort of as if there was a puppet without an identity in it. A puppet relies on a puppeteer to project their identity into it, right? If you pick up a puppet, it could be whatever you want until the person puts their character into it. Is this making sense to anybody?
No, I'm fucking with you, bro.
Total sense. This is awesome.
Yo, you are definitely cooking, sir.
So I feel like at the season 1, when Helly wakes up, my theory is that's actually Apple's address. The actual address of Apple is one infinite loop. My brother was an Apple genius for 10 years. He flew to California, did the training, became a genius. At the address, one infinite loop. We have an episode in season 1 called Half Loop, which indicates to me, well, it's calling to attention that Helly tried to use a noose on herself, but it's also kind of a reference to Apple's actual address. And then another reference to the fact that this could be the halfway point or a restart point for the entire series, because even if you've just watched season 1 and 2 and you watch it over again, it already hits different. So when we finish the series, I bet when we go back to season 1, it's going to all hit different. Let me go through my notes here. We have the mention from Mr. Eagan of the rotating cast, or his rotation. You'll be with me forever. Well, you think about a TV show from Game of Thrones to the Muppets, and you have your regular actors, your regular puppets that are always around from season to season. You can count on them and be there. And then you have people that get thrown off. You know, Irving has been sent off somewhere now. But if you want to be in the rotation, it's like you're sort of immortalized forever on the show. I was thinking about also, and with the season 1 being a loop thing, we have Mark, who is given this rotating crystal glass head. And before the season even starts, it's implied through Dylan that Lumen just gave Mark this rotating head. And I think that's sort of symbolic that Mark is likely going to be around through the entire show. Not only is he the main character, but I think that's going to be connecting the dots with some other things. Like I said, this puppets thing is all over the place, but the lighting thing, using lighting as control, they have these floodlights. Let me get something better here. Okay, Mark has a bunch of parallels with Kermit. When Mark first comes into the office, he's coughing and he's joking about his quote-unquote germ-ridden larynx. And if you think about it, Mark is kind of like Kermit the Frog. He's got a frog in his throat, and over time, a puppet gets damaged. The more you go between innie and outie, the more damage you're doing to the puppet. So in this case, that's Mark's ability to breathe or to talk. And what does Regabe give to help Mark repair the holes in his head? Well, he's coughing, but he's got a hole in the back of his head. She gives him something that looks very suspect. But when I turn off my dirty mind, to me, it looks a little bit like glue. And what would you use to repair a puppet but glue? A puppet would drink glue. We also have a weird connection with teeth. Don't we have a weird connection with teeth? We have Dr. Teeth. As a matter of fact, there's a puppet in the Muppets whose exact name is Dr. Teeth. And it's especially weird. It's especially weird because puppets don't even have teeth. The Muppets don't have teeth. But there are two characters, two grumpy old men in the Muppets who are named after
I even
buildings.
said that Jane looks like one of them from the Muppets, though.
And they're dressed exactly like. We even have a scientist over in the Muppets
hold on, wait
who dressed the same, like
I know
optics and design.
I know you've been rocking with the channel for a minute.
Yeah.
I know you've been rocking with the channel for a minute. Like, I remember saying that dude looked like a Muppet, one of the Muppets from the Muppet Show up in the mezzanine seat. Is that?
Yeah, for sure. Exactly.
Was
what
that
I'm talking
you
about.
that was in the comments and was like, yo, I have a whole Muppet theory?
Yeah, I've been
After I
going off
said
about
that,
the Muppets. Just I started working it out a couple weeks ago with the Muppet Connection, and I searched it up on YouTube. I found a girl who did a YouTube short that's like a minute long. She must be a big Muppets fan, but she has her own Muppet, and she acted out
Yeah, I think I
the
saw that
basic
too.
idea. Yeah, she acted out the basic idea of it because I had the idea first after hearing all this Muppet stuff in my head. And then I looked it up and started looking at weird Muppets history and weird Muppets facts. And I'm
yo,
like, damn. But
if
there's,
that is a real, if that is something, because I'm telling you, when there's too many coincidences, it's not, it's deliberate. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
And then
That's how I
also,
look at this shit.
the Muppets
Bro,
first movie
that
of
would
the
be
Muppets.
another, there it is, Big Heck. That'll be another one that I called right there because I said the
Ooh, I have a
fathead
big one here.
Muppet shit.
I got a big one. There's a character from the Muppets. Let me see if I can find him. A regular.
All right, so
One of
I'll cut you off at Dr. Teeth. Go from there, bro.
Okay, Dr. Teeth. Aside from the Labyrinth hallways, there's a character on the show. Let me see if I can find. Let me scroll because I got pages of notes here. It's
I'm in here
absolutely
crying.
Charlie and It's Always Sunny. We have Muppet Babies, which is an animated spin-off of the Muppets. So that goes right along with all the Muppet stuff and why you wouldn't want to use big words. Well, it sounds silly, but maybe they're kind of like children. They can't understand big words, but there's a dualism with big words in that you don't want to swear too much. So when Milchek says devour feculence, he's saying something that a child wouldn't understand and also breaking the rules, but that's not what I'm looking for. We have Bert Irving, but there's a character besides Dr. Teeth named Floyd Pepper, who's based on Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, which itself is a super meta concept where the Beatles would tour virtually through this album when they released it. This character, Floyd Pepper, is one of the house musicians on The Muppet Show, and guess what his name is? David Fathead Newman.
What?
His name's David Fathead Newman. His name's Fathead.
Oh,
That's a Muppet tie right there.
And Dr. Teeth is in the Muppets band.
Yeah, Dr. Teeth is a character in the Electric Mayhem in-house
Muppets
Muppets band.
Mayhem, yeah.
Yeah,
But
and then
the Animal is the lead singer, I believe.
and Animal is based off the band the Who, and they have the song that starts with the same line at the very start of Severance. Who are you?
And the motherfucking mammalian naturable motherfuckers look like Animal.
Yeah, Mammalians. I'm not sure how they connect, but it's either some people on the show.
Gotta be some type of Muppet type of shit, bro. And I guarantee you, the Muppet connections are fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, and look at the end of at the end. There's all these labels after the show rolls and all the credits go by, where they show a logo.
Oh, so Dr. Teeth is the lead singer.
Yeah, there's a couple different ones in the band, and they're all named after real people, but they all have like multiple names. Like I said, the show is super duper meta. So I think this Severance, to put it shortly, is like a play on the idea of, okay, Muppets live in this world alongside people, and in the TV show, it's entirely normal. The people that are on Sesame Street or in the Muppet Show, they just talk to the Muppets like they see them every day. It's not even a show, it's real life. Well, in the world of Severance, we have our innies and our outies coexisting where they live, and people talk to them just like it's normal.
Yo, I'm over here tripping off the fathead Muppet. Yo.
Yeah, and we have the animals. We have the animals and people brand in the outro. And if you look at that logo for
Fathead Muppet.
Yo, look at the logo
it's
for
a
what
shadow
now?
puppet for animals and people. Animals and people from Severance. It's one of the outro logos. It's a shadow puppet, and I've never heard of that group before. I've never heard of that
crazy,
company.
Y'all
what
hear
are Muppets but animals and people? Okay, but here's a crazy one. Look up Jim Henson, 1976, or Jim Henson. Just look at his historical pictures, and then compare that to Kier Egan, and tell me you don't see the similarities.
I know you were seeing this in the chat. People saying you sound like Kermit.
I'm not even reading it because I'm trying to focus on my crazy ass notes.
I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say it either, but I'm thinking.
I didn't want to say it either. I was totally
and I want to say
thinking
this.
so.
And I want to say this.
That's Yuri.
What do you say? I sound like Kermit?
Please don't be offended by that. because
No,
that
no.
shit.
It's just
Yo,
I
you
just get
sound like a
anxious. Right?
mixture of Kermit and Ricken. Word to
No, it's
mother.
not the
Like,
first time I've heard that.
but
It's just
Hey,
so
hey,
it's just so
hey,
on point.
but get this. Puppets can't eat. Why would puppets eat? Puppets don't have a stomach. Puppets can't eat. That's why they don't eat in the show. They're puppets.
oh,
And they
my
have a
God.
hand up their
Puppets
hole,
can't.
so it'd be hard if they pooped.
Yo,
Yeah, and that's also
holy
if you put your
shit,
hand
yo.
over and over into the same puppet. If you go into the same puppet with a dirty hand, it's going to start having a germ-ridden larynx. It's going to
Yo,
start coughing. It's going to need glue to repair it.
Carmen San Diego just figured it out.
And you know what? Think about Miss Casey. Last thing. I have a lot more. It's crazy. But if you think about it, Gemma, they're making multiple puppets for a bunch of different productions. They have to make different versions of her, like a puppet. You can't just change the clothes on a puppet. You need a specific puppet for a specific role.
And she mentioned how she feels like how she just dresses her up every day and everything like a doll.
Yeah, and we have optics and designers making fake instruments like the in-house band in Muppets. The Muppets don't have real instruments. They have real musicians, but they have fake instruments.
Hey, yo, I'm clipping this whole part of the video.
I'm telling you, man, I got way more. I got notes on notes on notes.
This. All right, so check this out. Reach out to me on Discord. We need to have a huddle and go over some of these things. We need to grab the images. And bro, I'm gonna snap on your fucking Muppet theory for you.
I've been going off crazy like this in the chat, like the last few streams, like crazy.
In a rabbit hole. Here
I don't want to burst the bubble though. Like
y'all with the Miss Reels tea. Just got the Miss Reels tea, so you know we got to ride out for a little longer. Then we not just gonna cut this off. Like we not gonna cut this off at all.
Okay.
And you know I'm out this motherfucker sounding like what's your boy's name? Bert or Ernie or one of them motherfuckers right about that.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna get into the Bert and Ernie connections.
My voice is all fucked up. So we the Muppet gang right now. We the Fathead Muppets. I definitely
Fathead Muppet.
And this is extra hot too. Hold on, let me get a sip real quick. We gotta get the sip, the traditional.
Hold on.
I can go a little bit inside with the Bert and Irving connections real quick. Besides the phonetic similarity.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Obviously, there's the idea that Bert and Irving, they're kind of, a little bit homo for the time. Pause. Whatever you want to say. Bert and Ernie were a little bit, suspect or whatever you want to say.
Well, yeah.
And Bert and Irving, there's no doubt. But there's a Christmas episode of the Muppets where Bert goes to get a Christmas present for Ernie or one way or the other, and he wants to get him a cigar box and for Ernie's favorite toys. And what are Ernie's favorite toys? It's a chain of paper clips. But that's not even the big connection. The big connection is the scene that it unfolds in, actually in multiple Christmas episodes, looks precisely like what happens in the overtime contingency when Irving goes to see Bert Goodman's house in season 1. The scene resembles that exactly. He goes up and it's like you're looking on the outside in. By the way, we still don't know who was with Bert Goodman in season 1 at the end of the episode because it wasn't Fields. But this Christmas episode looks just like that connection with Bert and Irving. I think the show is very clever in that not only do you have one meaning or two meanings, a lot of times you have 3 or 4 meanings in this sort of open-ended uncertainty of even simple things that are being communicated, just losing all meaning because it's layers and layers of meta extraction.
Yo, it definitely
and it's playing
is.
with identity. It's playing with the idea of a person's identity.
We're gonna dive into that. We got another panelist up here with us. We got Greg in the building. What's going on, Greg? How you?
Hey, what's up, y'all? Just wanted to pop up here, see if I have anything to add.
Oh man, okay. Man, I thought that was Exist talking for a second there, but it was you. What's going on?
I,
You
I
got
didn't want
something
to
to add?
interrupt the Muppet. The Muppet theory was going hard. I didn't want to interrupt it.
Okay, well, just chill out for a second. Let Exist cook real quick. You know what I'm saying? Let him round up to some of the things that he was just saying about Bert and Herb. Go ahead, finish off real quick. So
Okay.
we,
Well, I have a bunch more here. It's like I said, it's really hard to organize it all. I'll send it, but the optics and design, if you just think about that concept on its own, it's like they are doing set dressing for the office building of Lumen. They're placing art around to affect the way people feel. But they're also making the fake props that all the puppets use. And everything's kind of a secret because there's programming going on in MDR. What is television called? Television programming.
right. Oh yeah.
But let me let someone else talk. I'm gonna lay off the Muppets for a minute. But thank you for having me on. I'm gonna chill out for a minute. And,
no.
maybe we'll connect
Can
on
I just say
Instagram.
Can you
thank you
keep
for
cooking?
dropping that? Man, that was so dope. I was hella into the Muppet theory.
Yeah, and fun fact, Muppets is a portmanteau of the word puppets and marionettes, which I think we have in Severance with our innies above and our outies below. The outies would be the hand that's controlling the outie, or the outies would be the puppet for the innie controlling them below.
Yo, that is crazy. So
Like above the stage and below the stage.
We definitely gonna get together. We definitely should cook a Muppet Theory video.
Yeah.
I don't,
Twitter and
take credit for
Instagram,
your
Rick
theory,
Rock.
so we definitely want to link together and we'll do a Muppet Theory joint and then go live right after we drop it. How about that, bro?
That sounds good. Just hit me at RickRock3 on Instagram, spelled just like it is on here. It's like TikTok, but RickRock3.
Okay, Rick Rock 3.
Yeah, I'll be hanging out for the rest of the
how
live, though.
how about the Discord? Holler at me in the Discord.
Okay, I'll download that app too.
Yeah, download Discord, holler at me on Discord, and that is like hella easier to get in contact with me.
I mentioned that Muppet Babies connection. Well, it's an animated spinoff, and what do we see in season 2 of Severance? They have an animated spinoff of what's going on with MDR. All right, I'll leave it there though, because I could go on for hours.
Yes, hit the Discord. We definitely got to cook up something. If you got the notes, then we got the time. And I'm going to start my bars off for that video saying what you know about Muppet. Right there. Shout out to Big Hat. That's what I'm going to put on. And that's going to be the opening bars for that video is what you know about Muppets. And
What you know about Dr. Teeth and David Fathead Newman.
Oh my goodness. The Fathead Muppet. The Fathead Muppet shit is just like the evil Hodor. You know what I'm saying? Just like the Dr. Peabody. Dr. Peabody and Severance got the Peabody Award. Come on, y'all. What are we talking about? We got the evil Hodor, he held the door, and the Fathead Muppet. Like, I told y'all, this man did not say Fathead Muppet. He said
Fathead Muppet.
That's so
yo, so we know now.
I know I got one more before I forget. In case we don't connect again. You have one puppeteer. When the Muppets started, they were short on Muppeteers, the people that control the puppets. So in many cases, you have one person controlling multiple different characters throughout a show. And that would be a very easy way of explaining just exactly why there's so many weird crossovers from one character to another character, even vocal distortions, visual distortions. But why do these characters say some of the same things, have some of the same repeating phrases? Well, it's just like a Muppeteer controlling multiple puppets. They're trying to do multiple different personalities. So for real. Now I'm done. I'll get on the Discord with you guys.
Yes.
Okay.
Indeed.
I wanna throw just one quick thing on that. I love the Muppet Theory. That was great. But my only thing to disprove it is that the innies and the show writers have said that they fill out their lunch card in the beginning of the week. So I
Right.
love the Muppet Theory, but that's the only thing that pops it for me.
And
You know what I mean?
we did see the food in the refrigerator. We saw their lunches. So they do eat, but we haven't. And we saw Dylan eat the waffle.
Dylan
That's
took the special candies that you should lay off of.
right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It still tracks everywhere else.
Yeah,
I
everywhere else. I love it. I love it.
I
But
love
in the
the
Muppets,
food.
you have real people and you have puppets, so that does not discard it because in the Muppets you have people eating real food. That
And we
doesn't
haven't
mean they're
seen
not part of the show.
Howdy's eating at all.
Look
Well, no,
into
we did see Mark eating at the restaurant. We did
look
see Mark scarfing down the Chinese food.
He was hungry
specifically
for two
look at
people there, you know?
Then you
Jim
have
Henson.
the foodless dinner at Ricken's crib with his friends and whatnot. You had that, you know. There's some definite credence to that.
Yeah, the original name of the Muppet Show was Sex and Violence. It was like an SNL style show that was supposed to be a parody of what was popular on late night television at the
Oh, it
time.
was supposed to be like way more adult themed originally, wasn't it? That's
Yeah,
right. I
yeah.
remember hearing about
Oh, that
that.
was like the Pee Wee Herman show. The Pee Wee Herman show was like a kind of a dirty adults show, but it was still all childlike and stuff, but it was not originally for children. They remade it for children.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, actually, there are now that I think about it, several times where they were eating too. Like they had the food, they had the marshmallows, they had Dylan had the raisins. I think he ate raisins.
Hey, Real, I want to cook on a quick theory.
Ooh.
I was working on some stuff this morning in my head, and I wrote it down in the Discord.
Well, cook. Go ahead.
Tell us
Let's
about
cook. Well, first, real quick. Let's get to Greg and what Greg was going to say real quick when he came in, when he didn't want to interrupt the Muppet theory. So, Greg, what you got?
Well, I was gonna ask y'all when people were talking about the birthing cabins before. Do you think there's a lot of other locations out there where it kind of like activates the severance barrier? I mean, I know they got the overtime contingency where you could just kind of turn on an innie in the outer world, but do you think there's a lot of other locations being used for various purposes similar to
That
the birthing
actually
cabin,
have
but
like
other ones?
that
Yeah,
actually have like a mechanical mechanism that makes them switch like the threshold of the doorway at the cabins. Like I
right.
feel you. That's very
And what could be
interesting.
going down in those? Because if people doing it for childbirth, I'm sure there's
I'm
probably
sure.
people doing a whole lot of crazy shit in them.
Oh yeah, there might be like an office building somewhere where you walk in and you could be severed, and that, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to be on the severed level. One thing that I did know is that Lumen does have other companies that use the severance technology that are not Lumen companies.
Okay, true, because they're trying to legalize it. I was always kind of confused. Like, is it only Lumen currently, or is it also for other workplaces, but they're trying to just get it legal for general people in their everyday life? Like, what's the status there?
Right. Yeah. What is the actual legality aspect of what severance is?
Well, didn't Lumen say they have millions of severed employees all over the world in like every country?
Yes. And they also said that they have severed employees for other companies. Like other companies pay Lumen to sever their employees as well.
Man, that goes deep.
Oh yeah, that could explain a lot, actually. Okay, Kyle
Oh,
says
that
they lied, though.
explains how Ricken's friends, we think Ricken's friends are all severed. Because they may not be severed working for Lumen.
They might not work for Lumen, right?
Yep.
They could work for someone else. They could work for someone else. To me, the person that has been forgotten in this show was the midwife. Like, she's kind of like gone. Like,
Yo, I forgot all about her. She was a good character too. That
yeah,
actress
she
was
was
good.
because you know what she added to it? She added She was the one that was looking at Kier like it was a strange town, and she was trying to figure out what's the ins and outs of it.
Mm-hmm.
On
But
her
she had
date,
just moved there, right?
right, and she had just moved there, and it was kind of weird to her. Like the whole town was weird to her. You know what I mean? And she knew like these little facts of things that were going on, and she was asking Mark about them. Like she knew who the whole Mind Collective was, right? But she was kind of asking questions to Mark that made it seem like she didn't really know the deal with what was going on. And I think that we were missing a character like that this season. Like we didn't have a character from outside of that place that's kind of like questioning what the hell is going on here. That
Oh,
would
a
have been
character that's the audience stand-in.
Right, like
right,
the audience. Yeah.
right. And she kind of represented that to me a little bit, but they didn't really use it in that way. But some of the questions that she asked is what let Mark give us a little bit of details about the town, because that's where we find out where I believe he's from. I thought Mark is from Gantz. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, he's from Gas.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
from
he says
Gantz.
that.
He and
Yeah.
Devin are from Gantz.
And
And
then where did she move from? Alexa, the midwife? She had come from like Montana or Minnesota or something like that.
right, it was a state with an M for sure.
And then he
So
mixes it up and she makes fun of him for it.
yeah,
Like he says the other state versus
we
the one
know
she
that,
says.
and we know that, yeah, Big Hack, we still reeling off of that one right there. Like that one's crazy. But we do know that they have New York City, they have Kansas, they have Wyoming. What else was it? And
Michigan.
they also referenced the movie Sister Act in Ricken's book. So yeah, you got Michigan, or we got Grand Rapids. We can say Grand Rapids. What if the Grand Rapids is part of a different state or something in this universe? What if it's slightly different? You know what I'm saying? I think here is this place that's like set off out into the distance somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Rick Rock.
I want to know what PE is for. That's what I'm curious about. Like, what is PE short for?
Yeah, that's a good question. Does anybody have any thoughts on that?
I saw a theory online that it might be there's like an abbreviation in Arizona for the Navajo Nation. I forget what it is, and you can get license plates with it. And so it could be something kind of like a reservation, but just for Kier kind of thing. And that just happens to be the abbreviation kind of thing.
I like
make sense?
Wukong says planet Earth. That's crazy. That would be crazy. Like a little spot like Washington, D.C. Like its own, what are those called? Those are called a providence, right? Am I correct about that? I believe those are a providence. That's what it would be called, its own providence. Not sure. But yes, we will be getting on to that. The Muppet theory, we definitely got to go crazy on that. Delaware was brought up as well. She knows Delaware. It's a tax haven. Yeah. You know, province is what it's called. Okay, that's right. It's called a province. Indeed. Puppets everywhere. Yeah. And Helly's saying that she feels like Helena just dresses her up and everything like a doll, was like right on with that. And the old head, you know, looking like the Muppet dude. Like I thought about that from the gate. Like he looks like, I thought about that first season. I was like, bro, looked like one of the Muppet dudes. But yeah, that was amazing. I'm the Muppets man. Yeah, you are. Exists. Yeah, Exist is definitely the Muppets, man. We gotta connect on that Discord. Hit that link, bro, and get in the Discord.
I
And
love that there are people like exist in the world.
yes. Yo, I was in here crying, real tears in here laughing at the chat, yo. But I'm glad Exist has a good personality. You know, I laugh at myself all the time, yo. Like I make jokes on myself all the time. And you've also obviously heard that before. But the way you was breaking down that theory, you was just, I mean, it was heat. It's heat. I hopefully we could get you on a voiceover for the joint. And that would be fire right there, like a real collab video where we sit back and go in. Pause. You feel me?
That's great. Yeah.
That's great.
Yes. Exist is a winner for sure. I gotta find you on IG. That way we can rock out with that. That was fire. And bro has been saying that I remember when I first said the fathead Muppet shit and I said dude look like that. Bro was in either he dropped it in a comment or he said it in the chat. He was like, yo, I got a whole Muppet theory. But he just said he's only been working on it for 2 weeks. So that must have been in a chat or a comment.
I want to see what he comes up with more, dude. You definitely got to cook with him. You got to have some fun theory episodes like that, like or drop an episode later, you know, like a video.
Oh, the Severance Muppet theory is phenomenal, actually.
Yeah,
and it's easy to go through the Muppet babies and kind of connect a character to each Muppet too.
Yeah, like who's who. That's the fun. I'm thinking about that right now. Like who's who.
You know, like that would be fire. That's a fire thought right there. I love it.
Yeah.
The Dr. Teeth situation, that right there is bananas. The fat head and then just the Muppets. Man, that whole theory is sick. I love it. I
mean, glue in bottles. It is kind of glue looking. Like now that he says it.
Yeah, it looks like glue for sure. Definitely looks like some sort of like thick glue type of shit. It definitely isn't watery or nothing. That shit looked terrible. I wish they would have explained what it was and why he had to drink that. Like they left a lot of that out. I wonder if
my guess
for the third season.
My guess on the whole formula thing is, so when you split your personality, like that's two people that need to be fed, right? So it's like during the average day, they say what a person's brain uses up like 20% of their calories, and just to run your body, your brain uses basically 20% of what you eat in a day. So I'm thinking that's just like a supplement mostly to help his body adjust, because it's constantly like crying out for nutrition. There's probably some like stuff for your your synapses to link better or something. I don't know. There's probably all sorts of brain magic, like kill Q10 shit in there or whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
The fluid is mysterious and important.
Yes, it is. The fluid is mysterious and important. I hope they bring it back to tell us what it is. I hope we see something like, Ragabi meeting up with them and actually, all right, so I don't think Cobell's up to no good. I think Cobell's up to no good. I don't think Cobell is doing anything helpful to Mark for real.
I think she wants her job back.
Yeah, the fact that she didn't tell him to stall the Cold Harbor is a red flag. And the reason what makes it a red flag is knowing that she's the one that created the Severance technology. And that makes you think about how, it appeared that she was running experiments all through season 1. You know what I'm saying? All of these things, because now it's like, oh, she wanted Cold Harbor to be finished too. She wanted it to be finished. That was her thing with what did she say to Helena? She's like, Cold Harbor is something that I started and I intend to finish it.
She said,
Cobell
Yeah.
has been self-serving since day one. And even in that birthing place, she told Mark that if he finished Cold Harbor, that Gemma would die. Like she'd already be dead if he did it. But she didn't say your life is forfeit too.
Okay, so is anybody on this panel, were you thinking that Ragabi had something to do with the creation of the Severance technology?
No, she said that she
No.
perfected it though.
No, I'm saying like before we knew that Cobell was the creator of it, did you think that she had anything to do with it?
Maybe designing the chip and the like actually the functioning part of the chip and maybe inserting it into the person. That'd be my guess. You
Yeah,
know,
That's
like
all I thought that she had to do with it. Because
Yeah.
like
she said
she
I
thought of the
inserted it
surgery.
and I perfected it.
okay. I thought that she might have had something to do with it. I actually thought that they may have been they may have taken her technology and that's why she was pissed or something. And
I
that's
mean,
why
it would be a cool angle for like Ragabi and Cobell to have like some sort of weird face off later, I think. But
now I definitely see that coming, just off the simple fact that they had Ragabi leave just because she threatened to call Cobell. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we haven't even seen Ragabi. She like dissolved like salt and water real quick. Like
yeah, that was probably my biggest gripe of the season was just how she dipped on everybody. I was like, what the hell?
yeah, what the hell? Like we should have at least seen her like giving her a caution, like that woman she's gonna get here and you're gonna think that she's helping you, but she's gonna be out for herself or some shit like that. Like that would have been I think Ragabi should have had a better exit off of the season. You know what I mean?
Right? There were so many payoffs, but there were none with Ragabi. You know, we don't know who she was working with. She obviously wasn't working alone. You know, like what were her real motives? If she started inserting the chips, why all of a sudden was she against it and wanted to reverse it and help these people? Like we don't know her motivations. We don't know nothing about her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like how was she really hiding at Mark's crib if she had her own vehicle? Like if your vehicle's outside and you're coming in from doing your laundry and shit because homie's dryer is broke, then you're not really doing a good job of hiding unless you maybe have parked the car somewhere else or whatever. But Mark seemed to be the only person that lived on that block. All of that was kind of weird. And then it's like, how did she get her equipment to Mark's crib? They didn't really show us any of that. They were real vague with it. And I mean, I'm not surprised that they did it like that, especially being the fact we got that same kind of exit with Ragabi in season 1. She just kind of like disappeared and that was it. You know what I mean? Like we just seen her for a second. She kills Grainer and then that's over. Like we don't see her no more. But we definitely got more of Ragabi this season, like actually living in the house with Mark and everything. But I just feel like her exit was unresolved, even more so than Irv and Bert's situation. Like it just feels way more unresolved. We didn't get anything. We didn't get a little bit of a backstory. Ragabi is now the backstory that we definitely need.
Right? Because she had to be in hiding so much that Mark had to go get her snacks and food and shit. Where is she hiding now? Who's getting her snacks now?
Grubhub.
Right.
Did you say Grubhub? Oh my god!
What?
He said Grubhub. You know, like DoorDash and Instacart.
Yo, my fault. He's saying that's how she's getting her eggnog. She's calling Grubhub for the eggnog nowadays. Yeah, Ragabi is a bit of a mystery. Did she only have to hide because she was at Mark's? Or can she kind of like dip off and like, you know, protect herself for where she's at? Does she have like some sort of underground like society of people that are against Lumen and they have their own underground, you know, situation going on like the
But
Severance?
they don't know she killed Grainer? Yeah,
it seems like no one gave a shit about Grainer. Is Grainer They didn't give a shit about Granite. He got killed, and like they did, and Ragabi's just at Mark's crib. There's no way. Another thing that didn't get paid off was Mark's light in the hallway. They touched on it in season 1. They touched on it again in season 2. He was about to change the light bulb again.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Okay.
Cobell even told him to change the light bulb. She was like, "That light's broken. You need to fix that."
Mm-hmm.
Right? What was that symbolism about?
It's like representing his enlightenment, right? Like, or at least like him maybe waking up. Like he's transitioning to the point of fully awakened once he changes them all.
On him through the lights.
Oh, okay.
That's why the severed floor is lit up like it is. I think they're using some sort of technology to spy on them through the lights, and they know everything that's going on. How did they know Cobell stole that candle? How did they know Cobell stole that candle?
Well, I know in the Lexington letter it talks about like a person going around to people's houses a lot and sneaking in. I mean, they all have keys though, right? Like pretty much it seems, or I'm assuming she had keys.
I mean, yeah, she had keys to Mark's crib, but like they acted like they didn't even know she was, doing what she was doing with Mark, and they acted like it was, they acted like it was a surprise that she was at Devin's crib teaching her how to breastfeed, and they act like they didn't know about these things. How did they know that? But how did they know she stole that candle? That means that they have to be that means if they know she stole the candle, they know Petey was there, they know Ragabi was there, they knew Mark has been reintegrated. Because nothing
sometimes it feels like, especially once I saw that painting when he came up through, from the elevator, it feels like they're almost prophesizing this whole thing, like they have a plan in place for it.
I'm asking these questions though for real, but I actually have said the answers in some of my videos already. I think Lumen has been planning. I think they're pulling the string, and none of these people's actions, they think that they're acting on their own accord, but they're actually not. And a few of the characters that we know of may even be aware that this is going on, may even be aware of it. And I think Cobell would be one of them. I think they are aware of it. Think about it, right? How does the plan to rescue Gemma roll off the tip of an innie's mouth, and then Cobell has the exact same plan that any Mark had already talked about doing himself, going to get Gemma, bringing her to the thing, and going out with her. That was the plan. That was the only plan, right? That we even heard, right? How does that plan just go by so smoothly like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? How does that just run through so smoothly like that? Not only that, how does Cobell keep Helena hanging herself a secret? How is that? How does she do that? You would think that an Eagan being severed would be probably the most watched severed employee on the severed floor. There's no way that you would be able to keep a secret like that from Lumen. And furthermore, the only way you could keep a secret like that from Lumen is if Helena was in on it. In on keeping that a secret, because she's the one with the marks on her neck. So how does she hide that she had the marks? Like how did that, why was that the reason Cobell was fired? It doesn't make any sense. Some shit that we already know they knew. We already knew. They knew she took the candle. Somebody said, did they know? Yeah, they knew because Milchick talked about it. They talked about how Cobell was, they even, in that fake newspaper, had something about a burglar in Mark's neighborhood. They were talking about Cobell.
Yeah.
They were because she's the only one. we saw going in the neighborhood stealing some shit through a house. And they everything it described in that was describing what Cobell had done, going into the rummaging through the stuff, stealing stuff out of the houses and shit like that. So yeah, how did they know? It's because they're watching everything, and everything they're pulling the strings. Now, the only thing that can do
like
something
puppets,
like that, they're pulling the strings like puppets. Yes,
yeah,
Muppets.
indeed, like like pup Muppets. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? I don't believe that any of this is just haphazard thing. I talk about this in my video, Lumen's Planned Uprising. Like, I think that might have been like my second or third Severance video.
right. Yeah, I gotta go back and rewatch those videos because it's already been a minute.
Yeah, that uprising was planned.
Yeah,
That uprising was planned because, like I said at the beginning of this live stream, how did they know about them being in that security room? Where's that security shot at? How did they know about them being in the security room? So if they knew about them being in the security room, why didn't they tell Cobell? Why didn't they tell Milchick? Why didn't they stop the OTC from happening? I'm gonna tell you another way they knew, and they planned all of it. Cause check this out. I don't give a fuck how many separate people you got down there. You ain't making no motherfucking stop motion animation that's that long in 48 hours. I'm sorry, you're not doing that. Some people have been arguing that in my comment section. Oh, if you got an entire floor full of severed workers and blah blah blah. Nah, it's still gonna take a long time. It's still fucking Robot Chicken takes a long time, and they got a whole team working on Robot Chicken. Like, and that shit takes forever. You got to do voiceovers. You got to make the characters. You got to hand make each one of those little characters. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think that anybody could do that in 48 hours. You know what I'm saying? At the most, it was 72 hours. So yeah, Lumen already knew what was going down. That explains why they were able to have a stop motion animation already ready. A Photoshop image and everything. The Photoshop newspaper, you could do that in 30 minutes. So I can give them that. But not no damn stop motion animation. No, sorry. They damn near did a episode of Gumby. What the fuck?
in that short of time, like that's working miracles right there.
Yeah, that's miracles like a motherfucker. Then you had all the facial expressions, the detail, everything. That's just not something. Lumen already had all of this planned, and Lumen has been pulling the strings on their own uprising. It's damn near obvious. You know what I'm saying? I wonder what types of different artwork we'll be getting soon in season 3. If we've been getting this cool ass like stop motion animation stuff, I wonder what we'll get next season.
Oh, they're gonna have to throw something good, yeah.
You know what I wonder? So Mark had to finish Cold Harbor, and then his life was forfeit. He could live or die for all they care. His job was done. But what about the other workers on his floor? What about Dylan? Like, we know Irvin went away, but what if he didn't go away? And what if Heliar didn't, go feral? Like, are all, like, when he finished, like, what was supposed to happen to them when he finished?
I think it was a wrap for everything down there on that floor. I think they were going to move to a different, not move to a different place, but move to a different stage of their plan. Like, they were going to, because nothing special happened, right?
Right.
It was going to be like this catastrophic event that everyone was.
Same. That's what I thought. That was another Lexington letter. Shit's going to go down.
Yeah, I thought shit was going to go down. And we probably didn't get to see that happen. We probably didn't get to see that part either. You know what I mean? Because Mark did interrupt the process right there. I just found it very lackluster for it just to be an empty room with a crib in it.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was just very lackluster, especially with everything else you saw in those rooms, the other rooms. I mean, they had a fucking airplane in one of them. Like,
right?
Like, what the fuck is going on? What did that mean? Whose fear was that? Which innie did that room? Do y'all
I'm
know?
wondering if the room was empty because when Mark was originally building the crib, it was supposed to be the nursery, and that nursery was empty because behind him the lamp was on the floor and his drink was next to it. So the room was empty. So I'm wondering if that was why that. But it was still anticlimactic.
Okay, so here's something else. What are now we know that Mark and Gemma had a relationship or a relation. They were related in some sort of way. If there are people on other people other than Gemma on the testing floor, could they be related to Dylan in some kind of way or Irv in some kind of way?
Right? Are they building innies for some loved ones? But I mean, wouldn't they know a loved one of that close affinity? Mark and Gemma were married. And what would be the point of like them helping to build innies for a family member who was, farther away from them and in the loving circle? I don't know. I don't know. You tell me.
Okay, so here's my thing, right? It seems that when do you think the testing started for Gemma on the testing floor? Like, it seems like they were just using her as a wellness coach. And then she was retired to the testing floor. And did that multiple any situation begin with that quarter that they were wanting them to finish?
I think the decision happens after Allentown, kind of, right? Like, she only was working on that floor. He got to meet her only a few short times, had a few short sessions, and basically after they, got the data from Allentown, they probably overlooked it. They're like, you know what? We need to go hard in on this. We're pulling her off of the floor because we need her getting tested like crazy right now.
Okay, so here's another problem I have with it now. The testing floor had these different rooms in it. And it has Allentown and Cold Harbor. We seen her go through Allentown. And we see her going through Cold Harbor. But we know that Allentown was a part of a quarter that Allentown predates season 1.
It's like the first test, then, I'm thinking. It's like the first test you run everybody through, right?
He had to do that room years ago.
But that doesn't mean that things were stable enough or her innies were prepared enough to enter that Allentown room. I don't know. I'm throwing it out there.
So here's another thing. The Cold Harbor was encoded on the crib box. We all know that, right?
Yes.
Cold Harbor was encoded on the crib box. Okay. And Cold Harbor ended up being with a room with that crib in it. So the Cold Harbor room was a concept before Gemma's alleged accident. What's going on here? Y'all are y'all tracking what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's where it goes back to its old plans, right? It just seems too on the nose, to call something like Baby Crib Cold Harbor like that, right? Like, they had to have known every detail about them, or like you said, the meeting at the blood drive, right? It just seems so weird. It was forced in a way, right? Like, they had to have been put together by Lumen or something.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think they were put together. I don't think Gemma was a plant to begin with and sat next to him on purpose or anything of that. I think when she walked into the blood drive, a person led her over to Mark and said, "Sit here."
Okay, Big Heck put something down there crazy. He said, or they named the room after the crib.
Yeah, they just made us.
That could be a thing.
Yeah, for sure.
I think so mostly.
I think that Lumen has been pulling the strings long before all of this. I think that there is some sort of AI making predictions about what people will do. You know they have
Okay.
AI already predicting things that you want to buy.
Right.
Before, back in the day, you used to have to actually be talking about the shit to see the ads. Now the ads pop up without you even talking about it.
It's like in Minority Report when you walk into the mall and the ads were changing for you personally.
Exactly. And I knew exactly, like, I've seen that happen to me a couple of times. I was thinking about purchasing something and I never said it out loud. It was just something that I was like thinking to myself, damn, I need a new interface. I need a new mic interface. And next thing you know, I started seeing ads for that shit.
Same. I'll be talking about something with one of my friends on the phone. And the next few hours seeing ads for it. I'm like, man, they are fucking listening.
Of course. They have to be listening in order for them to pick up when you say the trigger word like Alexa or Siri or whatever. Like whatever word you have to say in order, so they have to be listening before you know what I'm saying, say the shit.
Now, your whole AI thing, I kind of want to jump into where my theory was a little bit that I was speaking of this morning. So I was working on the idea with Kier that he may be like, the board per se. He may be essentially like an old computer, with vacuum tubes and lights and stuff like that. Like, I don't know how they would have gotten him on there, or if it's like a replication of his tempers or something. But I feel like they're trying to work backwards to resurrecting him. And the reason I was thinking about Kier, and the whole board and how, like, what is Kier or who is Kier? And he might be, like you said, he might be like AI, or he might be like a computer making decisions. So in 1930s was like the earliest form of vacuum computing tube stuff, which is like IBM. They created their whole like punch card system. And then what I found interesting a note was in 1939 there was an ABC computer. It was based off of the guy's name. It's like, I don't want to butcher his name. It's like Anatas or something. It's like a Russian sounding name, but this guy worked. He was a professor at a college in Iowa, and he essentially developed the first computer. And it doesn't get the, like, I guess the original credit. It was back in 1937 when he thought of the idea, and his first, I think, successful test was in October of 1939, which 1939 is when Kier Egan is dead. So, or at least, right? I think that's his year of death. So it was leading me to believe.
But I think Kier's a useful figurehead. But this whole resurrecting Kier thing doesn't make any sense. Because just think about it logically, y'all. That man was born in like 1865 and died in 1939. Resurrecting somebody from that time in 2025, they're useless. They're useless. What are they going to do for you? So he's a useful figurehead and historical figure and cult leader to grom onto, but bringing him back to now, our time, for what?
Well, they think of him as basically their god, so why wouldn't you want to bring back God? It's like I've seen this story.
A god's a lot more useful dead, because then you can do and say what you want with them.
Yeah. Well, I guess the only reason I'm saying, like, I think they're trying to get back to him, because in that scene when Milchek and Kier are doing their banter, you hear in between the robot moving, so you hear mostly the robot moving, but to me, what I hear right before he says, "Thank you, Seth," is it sounds to me like a vinyl record being dropped onto a plate. And so I have this theory right now. I have to work on it some more, but basically the idea is I think somehow Kier's consciousness is trapped in an old tube-style computer, basically, and he communicates with the board. That's why you hear a crackling sound. It's the sound of vinyl basically being played. And so every response when he responds, like that, "Thank you, Seth," essentially like he computed that and then responded to Seth there. And that's why there was that weird delay. And I could be just off my rocker right now, but I gotta look at that scene more closely. But that's what I hear in the audio. Is I feel like I hear like the vinyl record being moved and dropped onto a plate.
I wanna switch up speeds real quick and ask something. Somebody down there said that something's wrong with the sound. How is the sound, everybody? Let me know in the chat with the sound, if the sound is good or not. Let us know. Yo, I want to switch up speeds real quick and ask you a question. And Coriano brings that up real quick about the revolving. I asked earlier, do you think the revolving has anything to do with the Cold Harbor file being finished?
Probably.
Joy, what are your thoughts on that?
I still don't know what the revolving is because I've been trying to work it out. I even like looked and Googled and looked at the wiki to see like the CEOs when all of them when they were born and died. Because I'm like, is he revolving his consciousness? But if they're are they trying to revolve other people's consciousness? And the Cold Harbor, does that birth have something to do with that death? Are you like revolving that? Man, I don't know.
I like what Debbie Ebby Bo Bebby said one time about the revolving being like when have you guys ever seen the movie Logan's Run?
It's one of my favorite movies.
Oh.
Okay, so like Logan's Run where the old people have to like sacrifice themselves kind of like whales. You know what I'm saying? How they beach themselves to control.
Yeah, I think you have to kill yourself at 25.
Yeah, no, it's a little older than that because the people in the movie Logan's Run look. Now 25 was on another movie that's very similar to Logan's Run, which is In Time with Justin Timberlake.
Love that one too.
That's kind of
only the rich people can live forever.
Yeah, and you have to like start working for your life at like 25 is when you start to die. And you got
when your clock turns.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one's good.
On at 25, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Logan's Run used to always be on TV. I caught it when I was a young buck on TV. Like, man, I was probably about 7 years old when I first saw that movie. Like, yo, that movie was the shit. And
they would go on carousel.
Yes.
Because they thought they would be reborn, but what it really was that society could only be contained and stay alive if they stayed a certain number. So they weren't really being reborn.
So
they were just killing people.
So do you think that James is about to kill himself?
To be reborn. That's what maybe that Cold Harbor did have something to do with it.
And then
I think revolving is getting uploaded to the whatever the mind is, you know.
Okay, I like that theory too. I kind of lean on that a little bit because what is the board? And it just seems like it's just another one of those double meaning words. It could be meaning like motherboard or something like that.
Maybe we're thinking too deep into it. Maybe the board is just James down there in his little jerk box.
Well, no, I do think he's listening, but I don't think he's the board. I think he's only just there.
They specify between James and the board when in that conference room with Helly and Natalie and Evil Hodor. They were talking about how the board says this and the board says that, and I don't think we should tell James this and that.
Right, exactly.
They kind of show that they're separate, that James is not a part of the board. Like, he's not one of them. You know, he's not one of the board members. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like, I don't know. We didn't really get any, we didn't get the board at all this season. That's another thing.
And how are they just available all the time? Because when Mark ran into Cobell's office and plugged in the speaker, he got that dry, rattly yes. But does that mean that they're just available all the time, 24/7, whenever anybody plugs in the speaker?
That's what I thought. And that's what I think Cobell got hip to when she said that she'll have Natalie, when Helena said she'll have Natalie get the board together for a call and have Natalie assemble the board. And so, like, assembling the board could be taking the speaker and putting the damn cord in the speaker. That could be an assembly right there. So I don't know. I'm really disappointed that we didn't get anything about Ragabi. We didn't get anything about who Irv was on the phone with. We didn't get anything about the board. We didn't, there were so many things.
And I'm disappointed in how they just sent Irv and Miss Wang off. It was just so anticlimactic for both of those characters. And I thought they were really going to do something with Miss Wang.
Because they're not the important characters, I think, unfortunately. Like, I don't want to be mean there, but I'm saying, like, in the sense that
they wouldn't have got rid of them if they were important.
Yeah, like, well, our main refiners are really, I think, the only true important people. Like with Dylan and Mark and Helena. I think Irving's still important. I still think we're going to see him in season 3. I know it didn't feel complete, but there's no way they don't pay that off next season. We have to see who he's talking to.
Y'all, Harriet comes through with the super chat. Thank you so much for your generosity. And she says, what about the machine floor above the severed floor? What break that down? What do y'all think about the machine floor above the severed floor?
What machine floor?
Was that on the map?
I don't know. What the machine floor was there a machine floor mentioned, Harriet? Yeah, what's going on? Let me know. Yes, Big Hex says AI generated. We got the Dieter Egan. That is the anagram for AI generated. I think the board is definitely on some like AI shit, really.
Well, that's where I'm going to go back to the revolving and vinyl records. Like, I saw some other video that kind of pointed that out with like being on a gramophone, and that's kind of where I started cooking on this theory this morning. So I think, getting revolved is essentially getting recorded onto like the vinyl and being attached to this crazy early computer board, essentially. That's my hot take. And that's my theory right now.
All theories are to be enjoyed equally.
Seth Flicks is still having problems with the sound, and nobody else is having problems with the sound, and he said he unsubscribed.
Oh, maybe he was just needing some attention.
Oh, my bad, Seth. Yo.
If it's just you in a crowd of how many people are in chat?
Word, yo, that's crazy as hell. I don't understand. Like,
he probably just hit the mute button on accident.
Yeah. Yo, that's crazy. He said, yo, I seen him down there. I mean, you can't act like I didn't address it. I literally asked the chat, was the sound good for him? Like, and everybody was like, everything is good. Like, I just seen a bunch of people saying that it was all good. And then he said he was out. So, rest in peace to Seth Flicks on the channel here.
Right? Can't keep them all. And I just want to throw it out there. If anybody has trouble with their sound on YouTube, sometimes you just literally have to come in and out of the app. And that'll just fix it.
Yeah, there you go. You know what I'm saying? I know my sound gets fucked up sometimes. So, like, that's why I asked the question. You know what I'm saying? Seth Flicks Milchick. Do it, Seth. Yo.
Turn her back! God damn it, Seth, do it! Yes! Do it, Seth!
Hey, can we get a sissy slap? Can we please get a sissy slap? Because that never gets old.
Seth. Head hits the table.
Yo.
Oh my god, I just love it. It never gets old.
Yo, you gotta do Chappelle with that one too, like another sissy slap cut with what does the 5 finger say to the face?
I'm gonna do one with the Will Smith and Chris Rock slap.
Oh no! Oh
no! I gotta go for it, yo. Oh man. God. Yo, this stream has been amazing. First, we had Exist come through here with the Muppet theory, and then we had Seth Flicks Milchick come in here, and he couldn't get the sound right. That's hilarious. It reminds me of Milchick's screen saying Miss Cobell.
Dude, they took like a week to get that changed over for him. He was pissed.
He couldn't get his screen right, yo. He had to dip. He unsubscribed. Yo, that shit is so funny. Yo, my bad. We not gonna make fun of Seth Flicks Milchick.
Oh my god, that just made me think of something. Sorry to butt in, but the whole when you're
back,
looking,
Seth Flicks
is it back? Oh shit!
Unsubscribe. This is shite. Seth Flicks Milchick is pissed. He said he called my stream shite. Oh my goodness. So that means
somebody's panties are in a bunch tonight. Damn.
So that means he can't hear himself getting roasted. Alex said he can't even hear himself getting roasted. Shite Flicks Milchick. Yo, that is hilarious. Oh my goodness. This stream is real. Oh
my god. You guys are making me think of something right there though when you're talking about Milchick's computer. You know how it says like source on their people's names and stuff like that? I forget what the image showed, like a bunch of different functions you can do, and I was like jumping onto that theory, like what if that meant that like basically the source is being fed, so like you could almost like jump a person's like vision. I was going through some crazy thought pattern that like essentially like the board can see through people. That's why Eagan has that crazy whacked ass look when he tells Helena she's a feathered Muppet, you know? I'm like, what if that's like Kier like partly looking in?
Bro says Seth Flicks threw a tin of candies.
Oh shit.
I'm over here crying real tears.
Oh my god, dude.
I'm trying to dry my face. My shit's all in my beard and everything. Yo, this is hilarious.
You're trying to hold that in, huh?
I got tears in my beard, y'all. This is hilarious. Oh my god. Y'all are hilarious. Bro threw a tin of candy. Yo. Yeah. I'm over here dying. The Severance humor is the best. Yo.
I think you have the best audience.
Yo. Oh man. I have to clip. I threw a tin of candies. I don't know what is wrong with me why I do not have that in the clip. I have to clip. I threw a tin of candy. Oh my goodness. Whew. This is the wellness session we needed. Word of mother. This one, I gotta clip this one. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I gotta work on my Kier theory and make it more coherent. And write it out better, but like I swear there's something there to show that, you know, there's a computer board and uploading your consciousness is involved here, because that's at least what I feel like there's gonna be some weird reveal, because you know the way oh my gosh, I'm forgetting her name, you know, the spokesperson, she the way she looks when she hears the board talking to her, she looks like so unsettled all the time.
And also, why is she the only one who can hear the board except for the croaky, crackly yes we got this season?
That was last season.
That was season 1, right? I'm sure that was Jane responding on that time. That sounded like Jane to me.
Right? That's why I said I think the board
okay, it did. You right about that. It did kind of sound like James Eagan.
Yeah.
It did kind of sound like James Eagan.
Because they're having whole conversations with Natalie, apparently.
Yeah. But I do think you're right when you talked about they are keeping them separate, because are we going to tell father versus the board already knowing about it?
Somebody said earlier when I said we didn't get the board, they mentioned the whole Milchick thing. with the painting. But I'm talking about like we didn't get the board, like we didn't get anything.
Like not even
like they
a
didn't
crumb
even
of information.
Yeah, we didn't get a crumb of information. It was just the same as what we saw last season, is what I mean. Yeah, we didn't get any information on what the board is, who the board is. One thing we did get was Natalie referring to the board as an it. She
Not
said
quite a person,
it.
right?
Yes. She said it. She referred to
More
the
like an
board as
entity.
it. So that is kind of crazy. And it would, okay. And if Milchick and other management are privy to what the board is, would explain why she would just say it like that if it wasn't a real person or a group of people. I guess you could refer to a group of people as an it.
Yeah, but then it's an entity, right? It's
like,
an amalgamation.
Well, not necessarily. Like if you could see somebody talking about a gang, and you would say the gang and its activities, right? And you could say the gang and its members. You know what I'm saying? Or the fraternal order. You could say the Illuminati and its members, the Masons and its members. You know what I'm saying? So you could refer to a group of people as an it.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do y'all think? What are y'all thinking about that? I'm stuck on this board. Big Hex says the board is Cthulhu. Yo, that's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so hard to say what the board is, but I think it is just disembodied Kier. Like that's what I really think it is.
Oh, so you just think the board is Kier by itself? It made what about the other CEOs in this so-called revolving? There
was a lot of Eagan past CEOs.
Right.
Well, not the shitty one. Which one's the shitty CEO?
Did they all go through a revolving? Does the revolving have anything to do with the main position at Lumen being the CEO? Like, you know what I mean? Is Helly going to have a revolving? Like, what is the revolving?
I'm assuming in the future, but I just assume it's being absorbed into the machine or something, right? Like being absorbed into the
Okay, so does that have
collective.
anything to do with Cold Harbor? Because then the question would be, if it has anything to do with Cold Harbor and the other CEOs have had revolvings and Helena is to have a revolving in the future, what was their Cold Harbor moment? What was their, because if they had revolvings, their revolvings had to happen before the severance technology even existed. So it probably doesn't have anything to do with Cold Harbor. What are your thoughts?
No, I don't think it has anything really to do with Cold Harbor. That seems just more Gemma specific. But I want to know how many goats you get sacrificed as a CEO. It's got to at least be like 40 goats or something, right? Like you get a whole grip of goats.
I'm sure that these people were sacrificing goats before people were finishing severed files or refining
Right.
them.
Like they've already been doing that as part of their culture, probably, or part of the Kier religion somewhere.
Yes.
Right, because they're used to giving sacrifices, even if they are blood sacrifices, because Milchick made Miss Wang, sacrifice her game, So, yeah, I think there's all types of sacrifices that go on in the Kier cult, not just the goat ones. Why did everybody go quiet?
just thinking, trying to.
Okay.
Like, there's so much to think about.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. Something went wrong with my mic real quick. We got somebody else. What? Greg D bounced off real quick.
Yeah, bring him on in.
Yeah, I got dropped. I don't know what happened. It like just dropped out.
Okay, yeah, I got you there. So yeah, I was wondering where you was. What you talking about, Greg? What's going on with you? What's your thoughts on the revolving? What's your thoughts on its correlation to Cold Harbor? What's your thoughts on Cold Harbor possibly being something that was planned way before Jim's alleged accident? What are your thoughts on all of that?
Well, first off, y'all had me 2 weeks when y'all was frying up Seth Flicks in the comments. So I was just chilling out, recovering from that laugh fest a bit. But with the revolving, I always kind of thought it was towards like the perpetuity angle of like every Lumen CEO will eventually have their own revolving. And I was kind of thinking of it in line with the board, similar to a lot of other people, with like the board kind of making up an amalgamation of all the past CEOs put together and like combined into this one voice. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's cryptic, it's weird. As far as like the, you know, the other stuff you guys were talking about, I feel like, I don't know, there's a lot of open storylines, right? But one of the ones I really want to know a lot more about is where that whole, the UUR for the innies is going with Natalie and Ricken, because I feel like that's going to be picked up next season. It's going to have some interesting turning points.
I saw the actress who plays Devon's mentioning that, like, she thinks that her and Ricken have basically kind of been at like a little standoff, arguing that, you know, he shouldn't do the book. You know, we saw that one quick scene, but in her mind, like, they've been arguing kind of for weeks about it now. Like, he still wants to do the book. So I think you're right. We might see something happen still. Some more.
Yeah, like it seemed like he was just trying to appease her to hear her out, but like, you know, he kind of ends it with that whole like, this is unlike any other opportunity I've ever had before professionally and fiscally or whatever. So I feel like at the end of the day, the money talks, and he's going to be going down that path.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he did kind of, I think he was trying to call her out, kind of. Like,
yeah, I felt he was calling her out, and he was just using the money angle for her. He don't give a shit about the money. He comes from money. He wants the gratification and the millions of severed employees reading his word.
Right.
True.
So he's just painting it for like
especially,
giving her the life.
I think you hit that right on the nose, especially with him seeing how receptive any Mark was towards him.
Right.
He was like, oh, you know, he was like, I love your book. And Ricken was like, don't patronize me, Mark. He was like, no, I really and that was before he knew that it was the innie, but he got a glimpse of how these innies are, you know, receptive to his work. And then you got this company coming to you saying, hey, your book is a smash hit on the severed floor, bro. Like, let's go ahead and see if we can do something with you. So yeah, Ricken is definitely, he doesn't care about the money. He used the money angle as a dig at Devin. Because we all kind of wondered what the hell is she even with this guy for? But then we did see a little bit of cool version of Ricken. Like, he's fun. I mean, dude,
I liked his look too.
Dude,
he was rocking the fuck out of that stash for sure.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He had like a hipster kind of deal going on, like, you know what I'm saying? Kind of.
He belayed his first cool wad
he's a
at the age
mountain
of
climber.
12.
I mean, you don't get much more fun than that. Like, something dope and to be good at it. Like, to actually be good at it. He's scaling mountains like a goat. But back to what Greg D was saying at first to my question about the revolving. the revolving doesn't seem to have anything to do with Cold Harbor to me. Because if all these CEOs, and we're just assuming that all of the CEOs went through a revolving, then the revolving had to be taking place before Severance. And Cold Harbor is, from what we think, is some sort of testing of the Severance barrier. So I'm thinking that the revolving is him saying that you'll stand next to me at my revolving is his way of saying you're the next in line. Like when you look at a revolver, like it's pretty much a line, bullets in line, bullets all in line. You know what I'm saying? And who's next? And she'll be next. That's what I think it means. I think it means when he puts down the torch of Lumen Industry, like he doesn't seem like he can make any real like CEO movements. Like a guy his age, you know what I'm saying? They're deciding whether or not they want to tell him certain things. Like he's not really busting no moves out there, y'all. Like he's not really choosing nothing. And now we realize that he is not the creator of the Severance technology. He's a fraud. You know what I'm saying?
Shit.
Well, that reminds me too of, because I remember, I've been watching your videos reel, and I remember you were breaking it down with Kier, how maybe he was like not really the driving force behind starting Lumen, but more of just like a figurehead. So then that kind of relates to the same thing of what James is now, of just like a face, but like not really the ultimate decision maker calling the shots.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying the whole time. When you got a situation where I realized this at the end of season 1. When you got a situation where even James himself had to be told that this happened to his daughter. When he said he was crying in his bed, like he's not privy to everything, yo. Like they doubled down on it by saying we chose not to trouble father with this the Orbo shit that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is, to me, it seems like Helena and Milchick have some sort of secret relationship. Like he's kind of like he does whatever the fuck she says. You see what I'm saying? It seems like he was the only one that knew about the plan to get Mark inside the tent. You know what I'm saying? It seems like Milchick was the only, because she called the innies animals. And so that would kind of allude to Evil Hodor not knowing about it. And then when Milchick tried to talk to Natalie about what was going on, she didn't really care to really hear or even entertain what he was talking about. You know what I'm saying? She's like, well, let's just go on in here and get to your evaluation real quick, bro. We got some work to do. I'm not going to be sitting out here talking to you about this poster, that picture that they gave you. Like, it was almost like she didn't even care. You know what I'm saying? Everybody kind of thought she cared, like, when it first happened. I think her mannerisms are something else. If the board is some sort of AI generated or something to that nature or to that effect, and Natalie is the only one who seems to have a direct line to the board, what is Natalie? And does that explain like some of her little movements and stuff that she has? And her little mannerisms and whatnot. What's your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, Natalie definitely gives off that vibe of like, I've seen a lot of people say how she gives off that like Get Out vibe of just like a body that's like kind of being controlled and not really like fully in control of their own faculties.
Right? It always seems like her mind is screaming in terror, but her mouth and her face are saying different things, you know?
Yeah, like her mouth is smiling, but her eyes are scared. Like you see that a lot, it feels like.
Right? Her whole look is like cognitive dissonance.
Do you think
My
she's
mind is
severed?
telling me no,
Do you
but my
think
body's telling me yes.
Yes.
Let's go.
my mind? Yo,
Okay.
yo, what what do you think? Is she severed, or because I kind of get the Get Out vibes too, and I like that theory because her face is like, girl, what are you doing? Like, is she twitching, or what the fuck is going on with her mannerisms? So, but then at the same time, she was sharp as hell when she was on that news. She was a great deflector. She was deflecting like crazy. That whole you know what I'm talking about, when she was on the news
Yeah,
debating
when
about
she's
that pregnant
defending
woman.
Severance. Yeah.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
sharp. She was extremely sharp. She seemed extremely sharp at the gala. You see what I'm saying? Do they switch her on? Like, what's going on with that?
I don't think she's severed because none of the Lumen management are severed. And she's so high up there. She's over Helena. She was sitting on the opposite side of the table, with Drummond.
Yeah, telling Helena that she's going in there.
Right?
Like, we're not going to argue with you. You going up in there. But, I'm sitting here entertaining your conversation and everything, but you going up in there. Like,
I think what you said about Helena and Milchick is potentially on point too, because even when Helena's talking to Cobell earlier on in the season about asking her back or whatever, and then she wants to come back and manage the severed floor, Helena kind of pushes back and she's like, no, like Milchick is managing the severed floor now. And then Cobell tells her like, no, he's not. He's not qualified. He doesn't have what it takes for that role. And then she kind of pushes back and insists like, no, he's managing the severed floor now. So maybe she just wanted him in that position to have like more control over
this brings something else to one of my theories, actually. My theory is that Milchick wanted to get Cobell out the way. And I think that a lot of these so-called mistakes that he's been making are not actually mistakes. And they could very well be happening on purpose. I think he's doing some of this shit on purpose. And it would make a lot of sense for Helena to be on board with that as well. Pardon me. What if Helena is actually a part of Milchick's rebellion against Lumen already? And she's been a part of it. She's been trying to take Lumen down on her own as well. And, it would say a lot, because I don't think that Helena likes this company too much, and I don't think that she wants to be the next in line. You got to think about it. We didn't see Helena at the gala at all. The whole time we saw Helly at the gala, so we didn't get to see how Helena was actually reacting to all of this until after the OTC happened, and then we see how she responded to it. She made a video we still don't know who the hell that video was for. You know what I'm saying? Was it for the donors? Was it for the board members? Who was it for? Like, was it for the public to explain what happened? I don't know. But we didn't see now we did kind of see how she feels about Lumen a little bit when she was eating her breakfast. She was just super uncomfortable. In the shot of her leaving the house and looking back at the house and everything, she was in disgust. She made a face like somebody farted in the car. And she just wasn't really happy. Like, she literally made one of them stank faces real quick, for real. And I think that she is already on board with taking Lumen down. She's just going about it her own way. I mean, who would be a better person actually to take Lumen down other than the next in line? So there you have somebody else that would actually be happy about the death of Evil Hodor. Who's gonna be happy? Who's gonna mourn Evil Hodor? Is he gonna get Graynard? Are we just not gonna see like them mourning him? Are we just not gonna find out if he was an Eagan?
I want to know who
I
cleans
think
up
he
the
is.
bodies
Yeah.
and all that blood. Do they have a separate any for that?
I'm guaranteeing you that they got a cleanup crew out there. If they
Yeah,
got
custodial.
if they got motherfuckers out there dancing and learning how to do strip tease and be in the marching band, they definitely got a cleaning crew.
Yeah, but
Dude,
custodials
I'd probably
not
be on
the
the
same as
custodial team.
cleaning up a dead body and blood off the elevator.
Oh yeah, and the blood was everywhere. I mean, the blood was everywhere.
My Audi has a custodial work under his belt. I think I could do it.
For real, right? Like, what is going on with what's down here on this severed floor here? Yo, which was funny? This is the funniest shit to me. I don't know if anybody caught this. Dr. Peabody went and sat his ass down somewhere ever since Gemma bust his ass upside the head with that chair. We ain't see him try to get too close. He been monitoring her from a screen and talking on a microphone ever since. And he has been sitting on his ass. He didn't even want to leave the room when all the shit was going on. He didn't want to run down there either. He went and tried to call Mr. Grainer on the or Evil Hodor on the walkie. Like, he does not want to be nowhere near Gemma. Gemma is ready to like throw hands. It's on site every time she sees Dr. Peabody at this point. Like, she, you know what I'm saying? Yo,
for real.
That whole her busting him upside the head with that chair was hilarious. I'm sorry, for the sense of humor, but I really can't feel sorry for a character who's literally torturing people down there in the severed floor and shit like that. I'm sure because I know a lot of people laughed when Evil Hodor died. It was the funniest thing too because he was so game about shooting that innocent little goat with that same gun, and it ended up being him. He was the sacrifice. He held the door as well. But yo, all of that was like, what is that called? Poetic justice right there. That's called poetic justice right there. You know what I'm saying?
That was a great call. I think you're right that he might be an Egan though, and I think so is what? Oh my gosh, I keep forgetting her name. We were just talking about her. No, the who speaks for the board.
Natalie.
Natalie, because she's so
I think she might be. I think she might be one of James' bastards.
Oh,
because she has blue eyes. Think about it. Like everyone who is like Eagan has blue eyes.
What about Felicia? Could she be a bastard Eagan as well? Felicia has blue eyes. Kier had blue eyes.
Yeah.
Natalie Eagan does have a ring to it, Bill Chill. Remix and Karaoke says Natalie is a bastard indeed.
And so to me, that would make Mr. Drummond Gunnell's bastard. Because he's kind of, he has that European accent, right? And we know Gunnell was over across the sea. So I'm thinking he's the descendant of Gunnell Egan.
Bill Chill said Felicia Milchick. Felicia is the lady that works in O&D that was talking to Irv after Bert was gone. The daughter of Pip. What's the deal with Jim Milchick? Also, what's the deal? And yo, I want to say Jim Milchick, Jim Hansen. Ain't that something? You had Jim Milchick from the Lexington Letter. You also had Jim was the name of one of Dylan's sons. So
Muppet theory in effect, y'all.
The Muppet theory is in full effect with two Jims on there. Jim Henson. Drummond and Helena are siblings. Code Knox says maybe because of they both called him father. How many have we heard call him father? Just them two, right? Nobody else has called him father.
They may not know they're Eagan bastards.
Bill Chill, I gotta go check this out. He says Felicia also wears a pinky ring or symbolic ring on her finger. What's up with that? I gotta go check that out. Milchick's name in Polish is polite and nice. Mm-hmm.
He presents himself that way.
Jim Milchick is the editor of the newspaper from the Lexington letters, and he was the one that didn't want to publish the story about Peggy Kincaid. Become a member, guys. We're going to do a members only live where we're going to go over the Lexington letters, drop theories in the comments and everything. It's going to be really dope. We already did a members only live with the UUR book with Ricken. Go check that out. I think we should revisit it again, especially knowing the things that we know from season 2.
I think everyone should give that thing a listen, just because it's fun, it's silly, but I think it really kind of gives a good detail as to like the struggles of the innies.
Yes, it really nailed it as far as entertainment is concerned. Like, it's very entertaining. You know what I'm saying? It's very well written, put together. The alternative facts were obviously purposely done. So it was great. I think it's something that we should definitely check out. Yeah, the Felicia thing. She had the blue eyes. I definitely have to go check that out. What Bill Chill said about her pinky ring. Gotta go check that out. Mm-hmm. Because there were, when you say stuff like that, the first thing that comes to my mind is all of the actual shots that they gave a chance to show her rings on her finger. Like, one of the very first times we saw her with the egg drop contest that they had, and like they showed her fingers and stuff. They showed her hands. They showed her holding that whole thing. So then also she was looking at the pictures that Irv had drawn. So yeah, gonna do that. Somebody said that I should do a Irv Bob Ross mashup. Definitely gonna do that. And I have a video coming out about Irv as well. We're gonna dive into the meaning of Irv painting and what that really means. What's the esoteric symbolism behind him painting? And it's a crazy theory wrapped up into it as well. A lot of people have been talking about it. I wasn't really up on it at first, but now I'm definitely saying that painting gives that theory some credence for sure. You know what I'm saying? I do think that Irv might be the creator of that painting. But then there's a lot of questions like, when would he have done that? Like, why? How? And it also gives the theory that if he is the creator of that painting, then 100% Lumen is pulling the strings. Someone at Lumen or the board or something is pulling the strings to make all of these events happen.
I think it would make sense that he made the painting if you think about Woe being in it, because it's like, who the hell saw, the bride? It's like he did, so maybe he did paint it a long time ago.
Especially with the way that Woe was rendered in the painting.
Yeah,
Woe was rendered in a very ghastly way, or ghostly way, where the other Tempers were not. They were painted just like the rest of the people in the painting. So, but Irv didn't see Felicia for all we know. You know what I'm saying? But we don't know. We do know that like Dylan met Bert before Irv did. We do know that.
They've crossed paths or something, right? Like he knew he was from O&D.
Yeah, he crossed paths. Yeah, he knew about Bert from O&D before Irv did. So maybe Natalie could have been down there before. We only seen Natalie on the severed floor when she was down there to fire Cobell. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm not hip to it. You know who else I want to see? I want to see some more of this. We need some more Sissy. We need Sissy to come back. I think it would be a really dope twist if Sissy was the one involved with Jane, and that's the reason why she has always had jealousy towards her niece, because Jane liked Cobell.
I mean, everyone's probably jockeying for James Love at that time. They're like, "Oh my God, he's the hot new CEO."
But what if she was? What if she's Helena's mother?
That could be. I mean, like, there's a weird ass house where you're raising a bunch of kids, but she's pretending to not be their mom, but also raising them. It's like craziness.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yo, y'all in these comments, I'm not even going down there, y'all. I'm not even. Yo, let me tell you something. Remix said that was a loud slap. Yo, let me tell you something. When you put that episode in your editing software and you look at the actual wave, the audio wave, that slap is the loudest thing in the entire episode. And I mean, it's like at least 4 or 5 times louder than everything else in the episode. That slap was louder than the slap from From. Where's the slap from? Do I got the slap from? No, I don't have the slap from. But Boyd slapped the shit out of Frank. I deleted it. But Boyd slapped the shit out of Frank in the first episode, and it was definitely his slap was not on par with Sissy's shit. He slapped this dude twice, but his shit was not on. Yo, Cobell took that slap like a champ. She ate that shit. I mean, here it is.
Man,
Like,
because you know that Cobell got that slap many times growing up.
Cobell is an OG for taking that slap. That slap was serious. She took that. She might as well call, what's his name, the dude from the MMA or the slap shit, Dana. Call him
John Cena.
Yeah, she need to call some of them because she need to be on this show right. She needs to be on the slap contest because she didn't even draw the hand back.
She wasn't phased.
Yeah, she came straight from the belly with that. Right? Like you would think somebody that old slapping somebody that hard, they might break a bone in their hand. But Sissy,
a quick hip fire.
Sissy, she be out there training. Like she slaps tree trunks in Cold Harbor, no doubt. She goes out somewhere and she just trains on a tree trunk. Like
it's like an old martial arts film, like when they're training, busting their knuckles.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? She's training. She's doing one-handed push-ups, all that. Sissy is a beast out here. We definitely need to see Young Ether and Sissy come back. Young Ether is Hampton. You know what
I thought Hampton was gonna pull out a gun and start capping on that car when it came by.
Yo, I don't know what they were. I don't know how or where the fuck that car was even coming from. What was that?
That's a good point, right? Because they're on like a peninsula. It's coming from like nowhere or something.
I don't know where that shit was. Like Sissy gave her the straight up Kung Fu Panda. Like she slapped the bullshit out of Cobell. But no, seriously, that car coming out of nowhere must have been like an ether trip or something. Because that shit made no sense at all. I've looked at it from multiple angles, from what we've seen, and it just doesn't make any sense. I was gonna add it into a video, but it was just like a very it didn't have anything to do with anything I was talking about. So I was just like, fuck it. But I have the clips and you can see like how it just doesn't make sense for a car to be coming from this direction. Especially they explicitly show us what direction Sissy's front door is facing from. And this car was coming from her back door that is just pointing directly out into the water. So that shit is just not possible. There was no roundabout road that takes it around or anything like that. And if that was the case, then why would they have come in from that angle any fucking way? If it was possible. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't know what the fuck that car was. Was it real? Like, And then what is the significance? Some people were saying that that's not Cobell's car in the water. It looks like Cobell's car. And I do understand what they're saying about the square and the round headlights and stuff like that. But it looks like Cobell's car. They never said Gemma's car goes into a lake or anything. They actually say her body was burnt. So
Right, she crashed into a tree supposedly, right at the end of the road or whatever. So
she crashes into a tree supposedly, and
so I think that car is Cobell's in the trailer. I saw Ben Stiller specifically talking about it in a short little clip. He said that the season 2 trailer, they didn't want to, like, I think, give away too much, because I think they might have given away a little bit much in the season 1 opening. And so they tried to, I think, be a little bit more ambiguous with this one. So I think all it was just representing was like her drive back to Salt's Neck or whatever. So she left her car in Salt's Neck, and that's why it's in the water.
Okay, so
it's just like simple symbolism more than anything.
It was symbolic of it being out there with that. David says, "Real sissy called Lumen. That's why they showed." But yeah, we understand why they would show. You know, we understand why they would come out there and everything. The problem is, how is the car coming from that direction? If you go back and look at the episode, Sissy's house was like damn near on the tip of a peninsula. So there's no way that
it's coming from the, like, behind it or whatever.
This car must have been coming off of a boat or something, and it came down the ramp and then started driving over there. Maybe that would be a faster way to get to that island, or maybe it's faster to get to Cold Harbor by boat. That's the only explanation. Like, you can't get to Cold Harbor. Like, they couldn't have drove that long way because it's like 200 something fucking miles, right? It's like 200 something miles from where we already saw her driving for a long time anyway. So, yeah, maybe they came on a boat. Maybe they came on a boat and the car got off the boat. That's the only explanation, but that seems a little bit far-fetched. But that would be the only logical explanation of the direction that the car came from. Yeah, so we realize why they're there, because Sissy's a snitch. Sissy snitched on her niece. But even deeper than that, I'm trying to figure out a reason why Sissy would be like that towards her niece. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't seem like their turn. I'm gonna drop the mic after this. It doesn't seem like their turmoil stems from Sissy being let go from Lumen. It seems like they have something deep-seated, something going on before that. You know? What are your thoughts?
I think with Sissy, she's just like an example of the most diehard follower. So it's like, even in being put out in the cold and basically left to the waste, she still doesn't think they've done any wrong to her or to Cobell or any of that. So she was like, whatever, I'm gonna rat you out, get you caught again. I don't give a shit. I love the cult. You know, that's kind of where I'm at with her. She was just really as fervent of a devout follower as could be.
Right? She's a true believer. There's always going to be cult members who are fully ball tan and will go down with the ship. I mean, how many people drank the Flavor Aid at Jonestown?
Okay, but so was Cobell. But it seems like they had beef before that.
No, Cobell wasn't a true believer. Like,
yes, she
wasn't. She was, and then she wasn't.
But we seen her doing her little her worshiping Kier and all of that. We seen her singing the song. We seen her like fully engulfed into it. She didn't tear that shrine up until they fired her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was definitely on Sissy's level of like worship. She had a whole thing in the basement. She wore the white. She dressed like a nurse. She you know, you had the nurse dressing in white, Sissy dressing in white, Cobell dressing in white, Helena wearing the white bathing suit. Like, they seem to be like all into the
Right, that's
role.
what I'm saying. She seemed to be bought in, but her faith is so fragile. It takes her being fired to say I'm out of the cult.
Well, it takes her being fired, but then we learn also that she's the severance. She created the severance technology too. So like, that's probably why she snapped out like that. Because even when she looks at her mother's breathing tube, she considers going back and trying to talk to them about getting her job back on the severed floor. And she meets Helena in the parking lot. Boom. And then she gets up out of there because she realizes they're about to kill you, sis. That tells me Helena knows that Cobell is the creator of the severance chip. I think it's like a known thing. I think Milchick knows as well. Because
But the family's just trying to pretend like they don't, right? They just wanted to take it.
Well, they just think that anything created by anyone in the cult belongs to the Kier cult. So
Right.
it's like communism. Everything belongs to everybody except it don't.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, exactly. They pretty much are saying, and they had her wrapped into that. So, I mean, it obviously shows she was devout. She was devout. She had a whole shrine with her shrine was doper than Sissy's. When you think about it, she had the whole checkerboard floor and everything. Sissy had some shit piled up in the corner on a dresser. Like, Sissy had to have a makeshift shrine inside the closet and some shit piled up on a dresser. Like, but Cobell had the deal. Cobell had all the shit around it. She had pillars,
and she had a lot of Kier memorabilia, and Sissy didn't have any of that.
Yeah, she didn't have any of that. And so there is a reason why Sissy was shitty towards her niece. And this stems before Sissy's firing. Before she got fired, not Sissy's firing, but Cobell's firing. This didn't just come because, oh, you got fired from Lumen and you ain't down no more. Because how do you know I'm not down no more? Because how does she know she just busted through the door and went upstairs and she was looking for something. But Sissy didn't know what she was looking for. I'm doing a video. I'm going to talk about that. Episode 8 was probably the most cryptic, dopest episode of the entire season. And I'm going to prove it. It's the episode that a lot of people didn't like. But you know what? I'm realizing now that this episode spoke on symbolism and on a whole different level. You know what I'm saying?
I love the episode just for what it was trying to say about Cobell and women and then science in general. Like, I found a big correlation to kind of the way women are treated in general in science, especially if you ever watch this one documentary. It's called Picture a Scientist. I think it's on Netflix, but if you want to really see like what it's like for women to even get any credit in science, you should go watch that. It's honestly kind of bullshit, the way basically men have treated women over our entire history, but that really shines a light on like how certain advances in science have kind of been like held back if it was an idea that was brought up by a woman. So
Yo, I want to say this. That episode, I think that I'm gonna prove that was probably the most informational episode of the entire season. It was probably, and I'm gonna go out on a limb. It was definitely better than episode 9, and it was better than episode 10. And I'm gonna show you why. But this episode was dropping some science that, damn, I didn't realize. I had some pictures, but then somebody pulled my coattail and said, yo, check this out. And
thanks for bringing up that about women getting written out of science. But I mean, that's been happening since the beginning of time, not just science. I mean, women are just written out of history. Period.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Period, exactly. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Do you know that a woman built the Brooklyn Bridge and she was like written out of history and they said her husband did it?
Oh shit!
Her husband was ill incapacitated the whole time. Like, she ran the whole show.
You're telling me she's the engineer here?
Yeah. Oh, and that's crazy because they could even be they have to be pointing at one of those instances in time specifically, or an amalgamation of a bunch of them with the story of Cobell and how she was left out of the credit for the severance technology. I mean, you know, even if you're a writer for a record label, they might shit on you with the royalties, and they might even shit on you with publishing at some point. However, they give you your credit. You know, unless you have some sort of non-disclosure agreement where you wrote for some rapper that doesn't want everybody to know you wrote his shit. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, but you agree to that, and of course you should negotiate more than what you get. Now, I've always said this. You don't get what you're worth. You get what you negotiate. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those kind of things where she had to be sucked up in some sort of cult to even agree to some shit where you're going to give credit for something so monumental, so groundbreaking in technology. You know, who were their competitors at the time? Think about all of the aspects of this. There must have been a race, a severance chip race at some point. It wasn't just something some girl out of school was creating. There were probably multiple people working on it. And this girl at this school was the one that cracked the code. And when all these other dudes couldn't do it, I think they were because think about it like this, right? The concept of severance, of splitting one's of consciousness into two different consciousness. This was a concept. This has been a concept in many different schools of thought, as far as esoteric schools, occult schools, and even, like I said before, the government actually hypnotizing people into multiple people. So this was probably like some sort of assignment or some sort of achievement that Lumen has always wanted to achieve in more ways to create this. Because even look at what they're doing on the testing floor, is they're trying to further or broaden the technology itself. So this was something that they probably were like, yeah, this is our goal to figure this. And Cobell is the one who swung through and figured that shit out. You know, what are your thoughts on that? I'm trying to dig a little bit deeper on the whole, like, Kier is just a figurehead. Just like James Eagan is nothing more than a figurehead. He did not create the severance technology. He's a figurehead.
Well, I think the whole severance through ether thing seems like a legit story with the whole Salt's Neck ether spill and things like that. So they were in the beginning always trying to control people, right? There's always this element of control and I guess severing people for pain to some degree, because from what I understand is ether, you know, inhibits your body from feeling pain, right? But it's not the same as obviously Cobell's severance technology, which is imparting that pain onto an entirely different consciousness. But I think her whole shtick was, you know, stems from that too, right? She created severance to ease the pain of her mother, and so this all has to do with like mother's love. And we still haven't really figured out Mark's mom very much. We know her name, right? But do we really know much about her? Like, she seems like
There's
a weird ass name to have.
Yeah. We don't know who Mark's mom was. We don't know who Helena's mom was. Cobell's mom was, you know, ended up dying while she was off at school, and Sissy wouldn't let her come home because Sissy was like, "You were where you belonged."
That's crazy right there. You can't tell me that woman didn't have some beef with her niece, yo. Something was up with that. That's crazy. How dare you tell someone that they can't come see their mom and they need to stay at school? What? Are you fucking kidding me? They had beef. She was jealous of her for something. She was jealous of her because James was fucking with her. And also, I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I think Sissy is surprised and didn't know that Cobell made that stuff.
You know, I bet that
She was
Cobell,
totally
she was
shocked.
mad because Cobell was chosen. And Sissy had to stay back in Salt's Neck and run a gang of high children on Ether.
Right. Sissy had to go back to Salt's Neck and do what she had to do. And they told, and she was mad because Cobell was able to look. I mean, look at how far Cobell went. She became like a higher up at Lumen. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's kind of crazy how they treated her. Think about like how she had to like talk to the board, and she was acting like she was kind of scared of the board and all that shit. You know what I mean? Like, here's another thing that might say that the board may be some sort of mechanical organism, because it seems like whenever somebody is talking to the board, they're trying to hide their emotions and stuff. Like it's like some sort of like lie detector test or something. Like they talk like they're trying to pass a lie detector test. Am I tripping? Like what's going on? What y'all think?
I don't know. Well, I hope we get some backstory on Natalie, because she's just kind of a cipher. We got to fill up what's going on because we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it is Natalie being the only one to talk to the board and her acting like get out and all of that type of shit. Yeah, it definitely is kind of fishy on what the board really is. You know what I'm saying? Look at Milchick with the scepter, the crown scepter. That's the crown scepter at the top. And we know that the snake rising is the Kundalini energy that goes to the crown chakra. That's another pineal gland reference. I thought that this was fire. This is the picture that I wanted to put in the video that I don't think I got in the video, just to make it that much more clear. The crown chakra. We also see the waffle pattern on top of the ceiling. On the ceiling, the waffle pattern is crazy. You know what I'm saying? This whole thing right here. Yeah, oh yeah, that's the crown scepter. That's definitely a crown scepter. You see that typically on the queen's crown. You see this on top of the queen on chest at times as well. We see the coiled snake at the bottom, and we see the double helix. We see the white gloves, the Masonic gloves. Yo, all of this episode was fire with the symbolism.
Man, did y'all check out his feet though? He's wearing spats. Like he is dressed from head to toe for this performance.
Oh yeah, he played no games with this. No, he played no games with this. And Milchick was also the harbinger of the pineapples. So he definitely is rocking the pineal gland referencing. You see what I'm saying? This was fire. All of this was fire. This right here, that represents the two wings on the snake, that whole thing right there. The movements and everything, and how everything was tied into the choreography. All of it was beautiful. Everything was very, chef's kiss on a lot of the symbolism. Crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with you on the staff thing too, because like the whole coiling up and the energy through you, and when you sit in like a meditative state and your chakras are aligned, like that's all the same like imagery basically right there. It's like from your pelvis up.
Oh yeah.
That's why the power is in your loins, as they say, huh?
And this whole imagery right here is like a Laurel and Hardy type of back and forth vaudeville comedy. These are reminiscent of medicine shows, right?
That's exactly what I was thinking about when you talked about it in your video. I was like, oh my God, he's right. I was like, I can't believe it. Milchick is essentially the sidekick in the show, and he's the guy who, once the show's over, he's the one who's actually in the crowd making you feel all warm and bubbly and convincing you to buy the stuff.
Right. He's the one in the crowd going back and forth. Or he might be even lying, saying that he's tried the stuff before and it works. He might they definitely threw that in there. And the comedic stuff with them going back and forth, the sidekick, they even brought up height, how The statue is higher than he's supposed to be. A typical thing is in these medicine shows that they would have someone, the shorter person be like the sidekick, the taller person be the main attraction. Like that's what this is typical snake oil salesman, the Montebanks. You know what
Dude,
I'm
and the guys would wear shoes back then to like basically women's shoes with huge ass lifts to make themselves taller. Like look at I think any
saying?
image of like basically those guys, they'll be in like some, thick ass heels on the back.
They would wear heeled shoes in order to appear taller.
Yeah.
And then they would have the slacks covering them and all of that. All of these different elements were definitely ringing through. I can see for sure that they are definitely referencing the snake oil period, that time period in time. I've been saying that since my very first video, and hopefully season 3 we get at least one episode of Mark Geller actually appearing on the show as Kier in the form of some sort of flashback. We did get a flashback with episode 7, you know what I'm saying? So I would love to get a Kier flashback. You cannot keep throwing this Kier dude at us and not give us one flashback. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, they need to have him in the show somewhere because I saw a video of him. It was on that, the fake news, the old funny website, The Onion. They had him on doing this bit where he's like a fortune teller and he's like reading people's mind and can talk to their loved ones, but it's like a comedy bit, but it's fucking hilarious. So it's like, oh my God, this guy's perfect for the show. No wonder why they picked him.
Oh man, speaking of fortune teller, in a lot of these circus and shows, the animatronic fortune tellers, and they would move just like how this Kier is moving, with the arms moving up and down and shit like that. They would move just like this, the animatronic fortune tellers that you would see at these carnivals, medicine shows, and things of that nature. The fortune tellers were con artists just like the snake oil salesman. They would say that they can tell your future, say that they could do all of this and all of that. They talked about that in The Wizard of Oz. As a matter of fact, Dr. Marvel in The Wizard of Oz, he ended up being the wizard, of course, but in the real world, he was Dr. Marvel. He was like a traveling fortune teller. He had a stagecoach with his name on the side. He took Dorothy inside to see the crystal ball, all of that. So, yeah, definitely. They're definitely talking about this stuff. This animatronic Kier is definitely reminiscent of one of those fortune telling things you put a quarter in. They still have those shits.
Right. I couldn't believe I didn't even think about that. Yeah, Zoltar, exactly.
Yeah. Hold on, let's see here. I know there's a picture of that. But yo, we've been rocking for over almost 4 hours now. I usually don't rock out that long, but
dang,
I definitely wanted to spend some time out there. We definitely needed a wellness session. This was one of the best live streams, yo. Like, there's some parts out of here that we have to clip. I hope to get what exists to work on the Muppet theory. That would be really fire. Be on the lookout for some more Severance videos. Let's get ready for The Last of Us. I got some symbolism, right, that they've been talking about in many different shows that they have been talking about in Severance. And I mean, we could even see it in this picture right here, but I'm not going to tell what it is yet. But it's even in this picture right here. I hope I remember to put this picture in the video. But we can see it in this picture right here. I'm not going to talk about it yet. You'll see it in the video. It will be out soon. I'm working on it, getting that one ready. Doing a video about Irv. We're going to do a video about Cobell in episode 8. And we're going to prove that it was the best episode of the series, or episode of season 2, I should say. Yeah. So just a little something to think about while we wait on the next episode. You know what? I want to say this real quick before I leave out of here. Thank you to everybody for joining in. Y'all been rocking for all these hours with me. Hopefully you enjoyed this stream as much as I enjoyed it. I want to thank everybody for coming up here. Food Pyramid, Greg D, Exist, Joy. You know what I'm saying? For bringing that really dope energy to the table here. We need that. And that's all for the live stream. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Y'all.